Greetings, greetings, greetings. I had technical difficulties. A
Hey,
tree fell in my neighborhood like in the middle of the night and knocked everybody's power out. So it has been a doozy.
wow. I'm so glad you made it.
Oh,
Uh
God is merciful.
yeah, most definitely. I was just explaining to the people. I don't know if you heard
Mm-mm.
that um that she in my book, she's a celebrity, so she could be late.
No,
I mean, sometimes
no, no, no. I am just me. I am just me. I'm just doing the bidding of the Lord in
right.
this magnificent Jubilee year that I'm having. Thank you for having me, Mike. And I'm just going to say from the jump, let me invite the Lord into this space to continue being a blessing in my life and to continue to combat any attempts by the enemy to, and I feel like the enemy has been trying to block this, but where God said, where man says no, God says yes every single time. And so
Amen.
I'm happy to be here, thankful that I have another day. I'm still in you see my 25, I'm not taking it down. I'm gonna let these balloons last as long as they last.
Amen. Most definitely. Most definitely. I think a lot of my people probably don't know who you are.
Okay.
I told them the situation, they started like, "Oh, really? Okay, I remember that." You know, I want to start first. I was hoping that you came a little early because I wanted to just go over some things,
Mm-hmm.
and we can go over the things right now because
Absolutely.
I'm
No
going to
time
let
like
you.
the president.
I'm gonna let you know, the dopest nerd. You the dopest nerd.
Thank you. Of all nerds.
I'm not here to embarrass anybody or try to trick you. And I know it's been channels that tried to trick you or do just the stupid stuff. I don't like stupid stuff.
Me either.
And my people know I get real angry when people try to hurt women. I think females and everything, as a man, we should be uplifting females, period. You know what I'm saying? So,
And I'll tell
um,
you, Mike, here's the thing that a lot of men are not aware of. The term females is a little objectifiable and offensive to us. We just prefer to be called women.
okay,
A lot
women,
of, absolutely. We don't females is a, ambiguous term.
ladies,
We like ladies or women. And so,
right.
but
Well, I
thank you
like
for
ladies
that.
too.
Thank you for it. And thank you for standing as a vanguard to protect us because like you said, far too
Right,
many try to come against us or derail us in some kind of way. And there's no need for it. I mean, we all sink or swim together in this world. And
right,
people need to understand that.
right. And I want one of the things I wanted to say is we can talk about if I ask you a question and you were like, I really don't want to talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's okay because right now this is your platform.
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that.
So what I want to start off with is, the biggie. Let's start off with the biggie. I want to let everybody know that I was one of the main people saying, "Oh, that girl lying, she's lying," and all this stuff. And you know how like you get a group of guys or group of ladies together, and somebody has a bigger voice.
Mm-hmm.
As the little people, well, why would she say that and all this stuff? And I was like, they just trying to bring Puffy down, and they trying to say all this stuff on Puffy. If you got, and I told you this, and I want my people to know that I was, first of all, I'm so lucky to be able to talk to you, even on a one-on-one, just you and I. I can't believe this is happening. I can
Thank you.
I can't believe it's happening, and I can't believe how quickly my mind changed after all those years of saying this woman is lying. There's no way if you got shot in the face, you be dead. That's all I thought. But
But
guess
our
what?
God is an awesome God.
But guess what?
Mm-hmm.
I got 3 friends that got shot in the head. Anytime you get shoot or shot in the head, 50 Cent got shot in the mouth, and
Mm-hmm.
talks about it. Because of Hollywood, this is what I was saying, and I want my people to know that I apologize. I came straight to you and said
You did.
I was one of the ones saying you was lying. You lie, stuff like that. And I deeply understand because I have 3 friends that got shot in the head. They still living. One got shot in the face. One got shot behind the neck. And they're normal. They living normal lives. But one of them was crazy in the first place. So when he got shot in the head, he's still crazy. So nah, you know what I'm saying? But I understand it's really not a joking matter.
They are. Let me just say something. Your friends are miracles. We are
Right.
all miracles. It never occurred to me to look up how many people survive gunshot wounds to the head. However, one day I was home and my daughter had the day off from school, and she got in my bed and we were just talking, and I was watching Good Morning America or something. And
Mm-hmm.
they put there's a young lady named Malala Yousafzai. She's from Afghanistan, and she is notable because she was shot in the face by the Taliban, in the face and head,
Wow.
and on a bus going to school. And she continued to fight because she kept fighting for women's rights. And she was a child, 16, I believe, and she continued to fight after she healed. She had a long healing process. She won the Nobel Peace Prize and everything. So my daughter was in the 5th grade at the time, and she said, "Oh, Malala." And I said, "You know who Malala is?" And she's like, "Oh, come on, mommy. I'm in the 5th grade. I know who that is." And I just instinctively just asked her, "You know what mommy and Malala have in common?" And my family's from Trinidad. So she said, "Is she Trinidadian?" And I said, "No, we both got shot in the face." And I instantly just started crying. Like, it's not something I talked to my daughter about a lot. She knew because of hearing periphery conversations, but I
Mm-hmm.
never had that direct conversation with her. And I just began crying profusely. And God said, "You are special." My
Mm-hmm.
daughter said to me, "Mommy, you're special." And she hugged me and she said, "You're a miracle." And God said, "I've been trying to tell you that all this time." But it's
Right.
like I could not hear it except for from my daughter's voice. And when
Right.
she said that, it inclined me to say, let me Google how many people survive gunshot wounds to the head.
Mm-hmm.
And when I Googled it, it said only 5% of people survive being shot in the head or face, and only 3% have cognitive ability. So you are in a company of miracles, Mike. You
Yes.
have 3 people, 3 random people, and they all survive. They're walking miracles because 95% do not survive getting shot in the face or the head. And that's
Right.
very important to know. And the fact that not only are they miracles, but they're 1 in 3%
Mm-hmm.
because they
Right.
still have cognitive abilities. The rest of the people either don't survive or are vegetables. So we
Right.
glory to God.
One of the guys said the only problem he has or he notices that his peripheral vision on one side is it's not as this side is real wide, but this
Mhm.
side is peripheral kind of stops right there, and it's just a black screen right there. And I thought that was interesting. So
Yeah.
do you have any I mean you I want you
Lot.
to start wherever you want to start at,
Okay.
because I heard the story so many times,
Mhm.
and I think God makes me listen to the story, because I was like, before we started this interview, I was thinking, now maybe she shouldn't tell the story, or maybe we should do this, or because she told the story so many times, she probably don't want to tell the story. I don't know. I said, you know what? Let
It can be
the
triggering.
God
Let God lead the space. Exactly.
and let this lady, this beautiful woman, um, you tell your story your way. You want to start from the very beginning, start from the beginning. You want to start in the middle. I like the part about the carrots and everything.
Mhm. I
The
will tell
curd
that
bar.
part. So I will
Golly.
say that I do have deficits. I have depth perception deficits. I
Is that
cannot.
right?
So if you're in church and they say bow your head and close your eyes when they're praying, I cannot just bow my head and close my eyes. I will fall over. I have zero depth perception if I close my eyes.
Because the
And
equilibrium is off.
equilibrium is off, and then the depth perception in front of me is gone. So
Wow.
it has improved over the past 25 years, but it's still nowhere where it used to be or where it needs to be. And
Wow.
so I have to hold on to something first. And
Mhm.
even in holding, once I close my eyes and bow even the slightest bit forward, I'm literally wavering. Like I won't do it if I'm not beside someone I know, because I will instinctively lean over to the next person. It's
Mm.
just how the body works. My equilibrium is thrown.
Mm.
Say completely gone, because I'm a woman of God, and I believe in restoration at all times. God can do it in one day.
Mm-hmm.
It can be going for 25 years and God restores it like that. And I'm always
Mm-hmm.
believing for faith that that is what's going to happen. But I also had a host of other problems because of the getting shot. I developed a seizure disorder because I have, you've heard the story. I have 9 bullet fragments left in and around my face.
Oh
And
my
one
goodness.
of the bullet fragments scarred my brain and gave me a traumatic brain injury and a seizure disorder. So I am the manifestation of faith. I can't stop saying it. This is a lesson in obedience. God has called me to uh, a faith walk that was not easy, that I had
Mm-hmm.
to learn within this 25 years. I had to learn how to stay on this faith walk. But I was committed. There was something inside of me so much bigger than me. I could not let it go. I could not lay it down. And this is why I stand so firm and I speak so stoically, especially for the Jane Does that are out here now and the victims that are coming to justice now. The same thing, that how hard they're going against them, they did worse to me. Okay. This is 25 years post my injury. Back when I got shot, he was at the top of the world, at the top of his game. Trust me, they went harder on me. The only difference was there was no social media. I literally had a love-hate relationship with social media because I was viral before there was ever a thing called viral. And this was print, newspaper, TV, magazines, radio, every form of media conspired with him to paint a narrative that totally disavowed everything that I endured. And I could not let it go. I said, I will have my redemption. I will have my recompense. I will have my glory moment. And God let me see. Look at what I achieved in this year of 2024 before the year is over. I hit my jubilee, my 25th year, and I saw this man incarcerated. I knew it all along. God told me 3 years ago that his whole empire would fall and he would be incarcerated. I started telling people and they was like, okay. Some of my friends and family believe me, but other people was like, here we go again. And we're totally oblivious to that I could be saying something that would actualize. In fact, God is so merciful. Those are the first people that spun the block and called me when he got arrested. I'm talking the amount of text messages and calls I got.
You talking about now when he just got arrested
Now, when he got arrested,
and
when he
can't
got
make
arrested,
bail?
they listen. Every one of them called me. Every one of them. Oh
Right.
my God, you said this. How did you know? I said, God.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people think it's a parlor trick or it looks cute. I'm 100 and you watch the 25th anniversary. I'm 100% 10 toes down in this God thing. This ain't no
So
parlor trick. This
so
is
the
who
25th anniversary is from the
was
day that it happened.
the day I got shot. Exactly. I was
It
going
don't seem
through.
like that long, man. It seemed like it was like maybe 5 years ago. I was yelling at them saying, "Man, that girl lying."
Let me tell you something. This 25 years felt like it was 50.
For you?
I
Oh,
know 50 years feel like because I'm 54. This
right.
25 years felt like it was 50 years.
Mm, mm,
So
mm.
I am
Well,
exhilarated right now.
you look beautiful. I don't care what name. You are looking beautiful, girl.
At
I
this island that y'all.
There you go. Show it off, girl. Hey, show it
Hey.
off. You know me. You know
But no,
me. I'm a clown.
it was
Yeah.
a harrowing day. That December 27th. I mean, well, we went out on the 26th and
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah,
it
yeah, yeah. Start from the
I,
so
I'll,
because you was saved, you're a Christian, and you was into the church. So I guess a lot of people thought that you had no business going to the club in the first place because you was a Christian lady.
so here's the deal. I
Okay.
disavow all those things that people say. People
Mhm.
want to put their own understanding on this. Back then, I got saved and into the Christian church, but I grew up in the church. I was no stranger to the word or the church.
Okay, from
People that
the
have been in the
beginning.
church all my life. I grew
Okay.
up in a spiritual family and a family that is very devout in its belief and understanding of God and practice of the faith. I identify right now as a spiritual woman because for me, it is more about my personal relationship with God. That's what this is about, my personal relationship with God. Oftentimes, a lot of religious institutions are predicated and religions are predicated on control. And that is
Okay.
the one thing I do not believe in. I don't control other people. I don't control situations. I don't control.
Okay.
I learned in this 25-year journey, if you only relinquish your desire for control, God will give you the desires of your heart. It's
Okay.
because so many people want to control people. They can't maintain relationships with them. They can't maintain jobs, whole lot of things because they are trying to control and they have to relinquish that.
Okay.
So
So
at that particular time, I had just gotten saved. I had pulled away from the church. I was doing my own thing. My sons were young. My grandmother had been taking them to church literally since their inception. At 2 years and 9 months old, my oldest son ended up crushing his fingers. One day he wanted to play outside of the gate and I told him no. He went anyway. And when I took him inside, I said, didn't I tell you that your children must obey their mothers and their parents? What did I say to you? Do you understand what I said? And he looked up at me and said, Ephesians 6:1. He was 2 years and 9 months old. And I was like, what? And my mother said, she came, I was like, what are you talking about? My mother came in the living room and said, what happened? And I said, I'm sitting here telling him he must obey his parents. He's telling me Ephesians 6:1. That's your first lesson for your mic or your music recording network fans and subscribers. Go look up Ephesians 6:1. Honor thy mother and thy father. This is what my
amen.
2 years and 9-month-old son said to me. So those were the things that were a tug to start pulling me back to the word.
Okay.
I got down and I kissed his feet. I said, Father God, who is it that you think I am that you put this child in my womb for 2 years and 9 months to say this thing?
Wow. That's
And so
incredible.
I knew, I was like, okay, something's going on here. When I had my younger son, 3 years later, he was 3 years old. Something happened and I was like, listen, guys, you have to learn how to sacrifice. You cannot have everything you want. I said, do you understand what I'm saying? I didn't do baby talk with my kids. My youngest son, who was my middle child, said, John 3:16, for God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten son. So whosoever shall believeth in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life. He was 3. That is the epitome of sacrifice, to sacrifice your child. Is the epitome of sacrifice. But my
Right.
kids were ministering to me. And this
Right.
has pulled me back to the word. And so
Right.
when I got saved, my kids were going to church with my grandmother, and my grandmother was like, oh, come go to church with us. And I was like, I don't have anything to wear. And my son turned around and said, God said, come as you are.
Come as you are.
It was convicted. I could not say another thing.
Come as you are. You right about that.
He was, at the time, he was 6 years old when he said, or 7. He is 35 now. So
Wow.
I have been under the anointing all this time, or from birth, but we all pull away and come back. So that particular time I got saved. And I wasn't really much, in the club anyway like that. I was a businesswoman. I owned 2 businesses. So I saved, and my girlfriend, one of my girlfriends, your friends still stay your friends. You have some people that you realize, okay, this person doesn't align with what I believe in. And so you just depart, no harm, no foul. You just know that you have to move away from some people when you change your walk. But I had a good group of girlfriends to my understanding and my belief. And one of them was a party promoter, and she knew that she kept saying, you're going to come to my party for New Year's Eve. And I was like, nah, because I go to watch night service. I go to church for New Year's Eve. So I said, well, she was like, please, I want you there. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to do that. However, I will go ahead and come out with you for, she was promoting. And she was like, we're doing a promotion run up to the party. So we're going to go out these days. I said, I'll go out with you one day. I went out with them the day after Christmas, which is widely known as Boxing Day. So we went out on the night of the 26th. So many things happened. As I was leaving, when we were getting ready, one of my girlfriends was like, I said, well, I don't have anything to wear. And she said, wear one of my outfits. And I said, nah, I'm good. Let me go to my sister's house and get an outfit. I went to my sister's house, who was not that far away, got an outfit, and came back. They didn't want me to go home because they said, if you go across town and go home, you ain't coming back, which I wasn't. So I went to my sister's house.
Right.
Yeah. And I was just like, okay, let me borrow one of hers. And when I was leaving, she says something. She says, be careful. And I'm like, oh, I felt like it was a jinx. I said, leave me alone. Why you say that? It felt like a jinx.
Okay.
But I walked out. I got back to her house, and we, when I got there, they were already like getting out the door. They were like, "We were gonna leave you, taking so long." So I went and put my things down and was just getting like my earrings and little accessories. As I was heading to the front door, they had already gone downstairs to the car. She had a big Rottweiler, huge. He jumped on my back and knocked my earring out of my hand. And so, he jumped and put his paws on my shoulder, and my earring fell forward. So it fell under the fish tank. Well, that fish tank broke earlier that week. And when I tried to get my earring, I cut my finger. So many things were just making me hyper focus. And I needed that. It was like I needed that hyper focus so that I could be prepared for what was to come, which I had no idea of.
Wow.
I
That's
got my finger together. They were blowing the horn. As soon as I made the threshold of the front door, God said, "Go change your shoes." I had 1 foot out of the door, 1 foot in her apartment. God said, "Go change your shoes." And I was like, "No, God, if I change, I'm going to have to change my accessories and stuff, to match." And he said again, with a heavier voice like a father, "Go change your shoes."
Wow.
And so I turned back and I went and changed my shoes. And I had on some flat ankle boots, some snakeskin ankle boots. I never wear flats. I'm a stiletto girl. Well, now I wear flats. Now I wear sneakers. But
okay.
I'm a stiletto girl. I never wore flats. I didn't have.
So you had on at first. You had on high heels, some type of high heel.
First, I had on ankle boots.
Okay.
Then flat boots.
And you
then
changed.
I went and changed and put on some high heel ankle boots.
Oh, okay. So now you got on high heels to go to the club.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
So I
okay.
And I had only gotten those boots a month before from obedience because at Thanksgiving, because one of the guys that hung out in front of my beauty salon, in front of one of, how it is, the guys on the block.
Right.
Me and their mom was really cool. They watched my back, so I never got robbed. And me and their mother one of the guys was cool. And she worked for ACS, which is the Administration for Children Services. And some big case had happened back then, and a child was found. They found out that the caseworker had not been checking up on the child, and the child passed away. So the commissioner called everyone in. She came to me, "Hey, you heard about that story? The commissioner's calling us in. I need my hair done. I don't even have it right now." I said, "Come in here, girl, please." I did her hair. We laughed. We talked. She went her way.
Okay.
About 2 weeks later, or a week later, she came back, paid me, and then also gave me a Bloomingdale's gift card. The Bloomingdale's gift. And I said, "You don't have to do this." And she was like, "I want to. I thank you. I appreciate you." The Bloomingdale's gift card is what I took and added a little money and bought the boots that I had on that saved my life.
Yeah, I agree. Say, keep in mind, guys, that she had on low heels, right? And then now you have on high heels. So now you're a little taller. That's important. I want y'all to keep that in mind. But go ahead, continue.
No, you're right. And that's very noteworthy. So I ended up putting on those boots that I bought with the gift card she gave me out of kindness for doing her hair.
Okay.
Like obedience. Went on downstairs. They were fussing with me. "Oh, we were going to leave you. Take so long," and yada, yada, yada. And I was like, yeah. Come on. And so we drove to the club. And when we arrived at the back of the club, the most bizarre thing awaited us. I had never seen this. This is in Times Square, New York. Everybody's seen Times Square in the movies. Everybody's heard of Times Square. It is crowded at all times. Parking spaces in Manhattan are at a premium. This entire block was empty. But at the front of the block, to enter the block, you literally had to go through 2 ambulances halfway parked on the side of the street and halfway into the street. So it narrowed traffic into this one little lane. And I was like, what on earth is going on here? Are they expecting somebody to die? I mean, I was just like, what is going on?
Wow.
It was a weird feeling. And they were just like, "Oh, come on, Holy Ghost, stop it. Look at you. Oh, Lord." They really felt like I was being, because at the time I got saved, I became a holy roller, like laying hands on folks, and just, I was so filled with God. I wanted to share with everybody.
Right.
You know how it is. Your pendulum will swing and you will settle where you're going to be. But in the beginning, you swing from one end of the spectrum all the way to yes.
Have you seen God? You know God. Come on. Yeah.
The goodness of the Lord, that kind
Amen.
of stuff. And my girlfriends were just like, we all get to our spirituality when we get to it.
Right.
And they were kind of like, here she go again.
Yeah.
But I said, guys, I feel weird about this. Like 2 ambulances, come on. They you know, they were like, we went in. The block was packed. There were no cars on the block. There is a parking lot on that block also, and that's where she ended up parking, in the parking lot. But the block itself was empty, which is strange. It's what, in retrospect, makes it look like some sort of setup, because it's not normal for, you know, now the lower end of the block, I couldn't see all the way down the block, and Manhattan blocks are very long. So I don't know what was towards the end of the block, but as it stands, it was empty. So I thought that was strange. We go inside. There's a bunch of people outside waiting, and it is a brick freezing cold day. There's a ton of people outside. So I see a lot of people, and they're like, "Uh-oh, what you doing here, Holy Roller? You at the club?" You know, people just laughing. You know how it is. You got thick skin. They making jokes. You laugh. You have your kiki about it. It's not a big deal. But everybody was saying that to me pretty much. So we go inside, and as I get into the front lobby, the young lady, Sharice Myers, the female security, she's checking everybody's purse. She goes in my purse. I have a comb in my purse. She carries on. "Oh, you can't take this thing. This is a weapon." Like, they literally could see this on the video surveillance footage when they look back at the surveillance. She takes my comb from me and says, "This is a weapon. You taking my comb." And somebody on the internet incidentally said this to me. Wow, look at the goodness of God. She took your comb and called it a weapon, and that let Combs in with a weapon.
And that's who shot you. That's crazy.
Come on. That's God laying out a blueprint.
Right. The part that tripped me out is somebody on, somebody on the internet, because you didn't even know, you didn't even put that together.
No,
you didn't put. I wouldn't have put that together. There was a couple of things that people put together for me, and I was like, "Damn, I didn't even think of it like that. Thank you." That type of thing. Okay, so yeah. So God, so they took the comb.
So I got in the club, and I was in there. We had only been in the club for an hour and 15 minutes when I got popped out. Hour and 15 minutes. So I pretty much, like I said, it was a very festive and raucous environment. I wasn't really feeling it, but I was just there out of friendly commitment. Like, okay, I'm gonna go hang out with my friends. And I really wasn't feeling it, didn't want to be there, but I wasn't complaining. It's like, you got that one girlfriend who's the coat holder. She holds all the coats, and she's, the designated driver. That was me. So I stood, I held my corner in this little area. I'd been there all night, and it was the way the layout of the club is. There are pictures of the club online. The way the layout of the club is, we were on one side. I was on one side of the room, and across the room was the bar. But there was an opening in between where I was standing and where the bar was. It was this large opening where people kind of congregated, but you could, the staircase to the dance floor was there. You have to walk down that, opening, and descend onto the dance floor. And then that's like VIP and the bathrooms and all this other stuff.
Okay.
I stood in one spot all night. One point, my girlfriend said, "I got to go to the bathroom." I went with her to the bathroom. We went on the outer perimeter to the bathroom, and then we came back on the outer perimeter. And I mean, it had gotten more and more jumping in that hour and 15 minutes. But within that time, the gentleman who they ended up having a fight with, or a scuffle with, thank you. Yeah. His name is Scar. Scar used to live his mother's house was across the street from one of my beauty salons.
Okay.
So, and Scar was just well known by his own definition. If you watch, there's another podcast called The Proffer, Proffer. The guy who hosted, he was a former New York City detective. He interviewed the 2 lead detectives that investigated the case. It's about 4 months old, but you can look it up. The Proffer. Just put like 1999 detectives.
I need to do that. Yeah.
And if you go on my channel, I did a reaction to it. So I have a reaction, and I will point out. It might be easier for you to watch the reaction because I point out specific things on my channel as well.
Ooh, so we need to do a reaction to your reaction.
Do a reaction to my reaction, Mike.
Yeah. Hold on for 1 second there. Can you see this yellow thingy? Somebody dropped a super chat. You know how we always like to acknowledge our people that's supporting. Thank you so much. First of all, Deborah. She says,
hold on 1 second, Mike.
Okay.
Oh no, here they go.
She's looking for the readers, right?
I gotta get the readers now.
Yeah, bless your heart. Well, I was gonna read it, Miss
Go ahead.
Deborah. She's from UK. She said, Miss Natania, I want to call you Latanya. I don't know. You know me. I'm Uncle Mike is crazy with the names. Miss Natanya, I am grateful for hearing your story. You inspire me.
Thank you.
And then she says, thank you, Mike, for always searching for the truth. Yeah, I always try to search for the truth. We all got to stick together to search for the truth. And then she says, P.S. Natanya, your hat is gorgeous. I love the hats you be wearing, girl.
Thank you. I'm a hat girl. I'm an accessory girl. Thank you so much.
Love from the UK.
Thank you. I greatly appreciate that, Miss Deborah. I appreciate you, and I receive your love, and I send it back. Thank you so much for that.
Most definitely. It is so hard. People don't realize how difficult it is to sit here, I don't know, click the buttons, try to let the people talk, you know, different things, you know. So, all right, continue.
Okay. So I was across the room from where the bar was.
Right.
And so,
the guy name was what's the guy name?
Scar. His name is Matthew Allen, but his nickname was Scar.
Yeah, street name or whatever, Scar.
And by his own, in the proffer, you'll hear the detectives Artie Cadigan and Joe Sweeney say, you know, people are like, the host was like, well, what kind of person was he? Was he like a thug? He was like, you know, he had his thing, but he was charming. And I said this many times. This is before he filmed that podcast. I said he described himself as a ghetto celebrity, and he very much was. Everybody knew him. And people may walk a certain walk that, you know, that's between them and the Lord. They may walk that walk, but people have duality, and we have to always remember that. I always tell people my best example is you could be a 304 with a heart of gold. You could be a thug with a heart of gold. Like, I know a lot of righteous men and women who consider themselves to be, you know, Christians or whatever, and they follow the people. Rules. They don't break the rules, but I've never seen them give out a book bag at back to school time, nor a turkey for anybody, or groceries to feed their children. I've never seen any of these acts from them. However, I do know some people who society would designate as thugs or 304s, and they are always giving back. So we have to be very wary about boxing people into these things. We have to be very careful with our designations of people. And so I see a lot of newscasts like he was a thug and this and that. Listen, Puffy is a thug. Just because he owned a record label doesn't mean that man wasn't a thug. Now, that man is the thuggest of all thugs.
And he was involved in a school that didn't do well.
If you have to measure, a lot of media was trying to measure Scar and him and making it like Scar had to be the problem because he was a thug and Puffy was this mogul. Listen, if you measure them against each other, Scar looks like a choir boy. Okay, Puffy's the real thug, but I digress.
Okay,
so thug. See, look at that. I removed that. Scar said, "Hey, Eb, what you doing in here, Holy Roller? Look at you preaching a sermon." And it was funny. We laughed about it because everybody knew I got saved. He would come to my shop. We would have the most deep, amazing conversations. He definitely had an amazing spirit, and we would have some of the most thought-provoking conversations. He was such a gentle soul. Whatever the world, whatever his reckoning was with the world, or, you know, whatever, that's between him and God. But as far as the person I knew, he was a definitely great guy, and I can appreciate the friendship we had. So he asked me if I wanted to drink, and I'm like, no, I'm not drinking. He said, what are you doing in here? And I was like, I'm here with Stacy and everybody. And we all knew each other, you know. And
right.
He said, okay. And he said, well, what you want something to drink? I said, give me some juice. And he was like, you got me buying juice in the club? Like, it became a joke. He gave me some juice. He went his way. I went my way. He went back to his area. I held my corner, and that was it. A little while later, this groundswell of people started to ascend the staircase. And like I said, the staircase and that opening in the room was in the middle of where I was positioned and where the bar was across the room. They started to ascend the staircase following the whole entourage, which we immediately were able to see. It was Puffy, J-Lo, you know, their whole entourage. And Shine, which a lot of people don't know, Shine was a friend of mine. Shine's first time getting on wax in the studio was on my work. I'm a female vocalist. A lot of people don't know that. I could have said this a long time. I mean, you know, some people that watch me, they know I'm a singer, but I'm a singer.
Right.
I was in the studio.
I want to talk about that also because we've got some things that we're working on as a producer. But go ahead. Yeah.
So I was in a studio, and
Hmm.
the guy who was managing him was a friend of mine. I used to work at his salon before I opened my own.
Okay.
And
The guy that was managing Shine.
yes,
Okay.
it
Okay.
was like a light de facto management. He used to hang out in
Right.
front of the shop and things like that. So,
Okay.
and he called me. That was my homeboy. He was like, "Yo, what you doing?" I said, "I'm in the studio." He said, "Oh, word? Let me come through. I got, the young guy with me. Let me come through." I said, "Come on." I told him what studio I was in, what suite I was in. They came through.
Hmm.
He came in. He was doing his bars. He was rapping. He was good.
Hmm.
Um, and I had already known who he was, but he was good. He was doing his thing, and I was proud to let him come and get on the mic. That was no big deal for me. You know how it is in the studio, Mike. Anybody who presents with either
The
talent
skills.
or a hope to have talent, a hope to display what they have, we want to give them an opportunity, let them vibe. And I,
Exactly.
and I know for a fact that the what he recorded in the studio with me, and this was a couple of times. It wasn't just one time. What he recorded in the studio with me, they ended up taking that when they went to shop his demo to get a deal, and that's part of how he got a record deal. So
Mm.
those are factors that a lot of people don't know. And that is why when people hear me saying Shine is a liar, in my opinion, he knows he is holding back the whole truth and nothing but the truth for whatever reason. And that's not between me, that's between him and God. He gonna have to reconcile himself with God on
And
that.
that's weird because he did 10 years over this.
Yeah, but he was also compensated. They have
Oh,
very
right.
crafty ways of doing their stuff, like give him a record deal that you've never heard. You understand? They gave him a
People
record
said that.
through L.A. Reid. Where the record at?
Right.
It
People have
wasn't a
said
record
that
deal.
over and
It
over
was a
again.
payoff.
Right.
It was
Right.
the payoff for doing the bid.
Slickly.
But listen, he's not innocent. Shine shot Julius Jones. I was not the only person that got pow that night. Myself, Julius Jones, and a man named Robert Thompson was grazed. I always have to evoke their names because how we just made our 25th anniversary and the world they tried to shut me down, but I wouldn't go for it. But they have all but eradicated and erased them too from history. And I will not tolerate it. This is not just my monumentous occasion. This is theirs as well. And this thing has eviscerated and affected their lives as well. And everybody copes with what they cope with, how they cope with it. But Julius
Right.
Jones, my friend, I talked to him. That's my brother.
Hmm.
We became members of a club neither one of us signed up for. And we
That's
just
true.
made that 25th milestone year together. I have to always evoke their names. I have to. And so Shine shot Julius Jones, and I'm never going to stop saying it. And he admits it. And when you go on my channel, you will see a video with the docus. I wrote a docuseries called Shot, Survivors Helping Others Through. That's the acronym. And I want to help people that survive gun violence reclaim their name, their story, their title, and not just be some news blurb. And so you hear in my sizzle reel, you will hear that snippet of him admitting on the Combat Jack podcast that it
Right.
got him.
Right. I heard it. I heard it a couple
You
of
heard it.
times. And
Yeah.
he said out of his mouth that y'all would, oh, that's my girl. That's my home girl or something like that. He said, yeah, I heard it.
Yep. And a lot of people
Wow.
don't know these little details. And this is why I continue to speak, because it is now in this season, in a time such as this, that people's ears are open to the truth. Most people believed when I said Puffy shot me that it was hyperbole, that I was, grasping for money. And they always change the narrative. They'll say, oh, this is a money grab. Well, people need to understand that if you go to the county jail right now, whatever city, USA, or wherever in the world you live, everybody at that jail will say, I didn't do it. It's what
Mm.
people do when they're guilty. Everybody and very well, there could be some of them in there who are not guilty. However, the majority of them are. But they
Hmm.
tell you, I didn't do it. That's why we have all these shows with First 48 and all that, where they're interrogating people and they're like, what you talking about? I swear on my mama, I ain't do it. And then a little while later, they give them a dinner box, a snack box with a pack of chips and some Skittles, and they telling the whole story.
Right.
So
Right.
we remember that people are motivated by whatever they're motivated by to speak, but it doesn't negate what they did. And it doesn't
Mm.
make the person who survived that should have to stay quiet. I'm not ever. As long as I live, I will cry aloud and spare not. I will speak the truth and tell it on the mountaintop forever until God calls me home and I transition to another realm. I will speak these facts.
Amen. Talk to us about like right around the time when the guns was being drawn out. What made them draw their guns out at all?
Okay, so when they were ascending the stairs, a song was on, Whoa, by Black Rob. It had just come out. That was their artist.
Yeah.
Rest in peace to Black Rob. And as the song builds into a crescendo at the beginning, it's very chilling at the instrumentation. So they were hype. You know, it was their new song out. They were hype and they were, you know, pushing and bragging and just very braggadocious kind of, you know how people get when they feeling themselves. They
hype. They hype in the club. You know, they elbow throw them bows. Yeah, they getting hype right now. And it's building up. Yeah, okay.
Happening. So as the crowd approached us, Shine saw myself and my homegirl Kelly and reached over and touched our hands. He was like, Kelly, and he touched our fingers. And I was like, hey, what up, Shine? And literally, while that was happening, Puffy bumps into Scar, but Scar's back is to him. He doesn't know who's bumping into him. He's facing the bar. When he bumped into him, he spilled his champagne or whatever he was drinking on him. And so instinctively, he threw his bowls back for whoever bumped into him. When he threw his bowls back and he turned around, you know, they're like, oh, you know who I am and you better recognize and we got money in out here. And so Scar's friend was like, we getting money too. And he had a wad of money in his hand and he slapped Puffy. Whop with the wad of money, and the money just flew to the sky and started raining down. So people were scurrying, trying to get money. It was just, I knew instantly. I told my friend, I said, oh my God, this is not going to turn out right. Once he slapped him with that money, I instantly see, so they got into a scuffle, but I instantly see Puffy and Scar reaching for their waist and backing back to the front door. So the direction they were originally walking to, now they're facing the bar. And they start retreating to the front door while simultaneously reaching in their waist to pull from their hip. And I tell my friend, oh no, watch out. Because I think to myself, this is getting ready to get crazy. Now, here's the thing. Instinctively, I saw them pulling their guns, but I thought it was male ego trying to brag. I didn't think they were going to shoot. I thought they were going to fight.
Especially in a crowded club.
The gun was trying to show somebody like, look, I got a gun, you know, and then whatever, they would scuffle it out. I did not think that they would fire those guns. I will be honest. That is my naivete, because 25 years later, I know for a fact I bear the scars and the bullets. I got the bullet 9 fragments in my face, so I know. Looking at them the whole time, and I tell my friend, oh my God, watch out, they're going to fire. As soon as I turn, I'm turning back from telling her that. I'm turning back to face them, and God says, calm down, you're about to be hit. I'm looking at them, I scream, no! And all of a sudden, pow, pow, the muzzle flash. And I'm like, I instantly scream, no, God, I'm not finished raising my kids. Please don't take me. I have work to do. I screamed that out instantly because I just got saved. And in our baptism classes, they taught us when anything happens, you either speak unaliving or you speak life. And I wanted to always speak life. And so I literally scream out, I have to raise my children. I'm not finished doing your work. Let me do your work. I have work to do. This is why I have this. This is why I'm here now. And I'm able to still speak 25 years. I've spoken all through this 25 years. I said immediately, Puffy shot me. I watched him. I watched him shoot me. But I'll tell you how dangerous they are. From the very onset, they set out to disguise what happened, to hide it. So, of course, in the Proffer podcast, you will hear them say, whenever there's a shooting in a club, or it was another police officer, so whenever there's a shooting in a club, the first one out the club is a woman. Women are the first out the door. But the first person out of the door, you'll hear the Proffer podcast say, was Shine. He was the first one out the door. And when he ran out the club, he ran smack dab into a cop. And the gun was in his waist. So the cop snatched the gun out of his waist. He said the gun was still hot to touch.
Wow.
Was fired. These are detectives that have retired and were on the police force for an unbelievable amount of years. What is their need and their narrative to lie? They have no,
Right.
they don't get extra brownie points. There's no Scooby snacks for them. This is their retelling of the events that took place. And they said unequivocally, the gun was still hot when the cops snatched it out of Shine's waist.
That's
So
crazy.
they snatched him immediately. When the whole barrage of people came out, Puffy, J-Lo, and what really and truly, Puffy left J-Lo. He ran in. Wolf, his bodyguard, had to go back and get J-Lo. You will hear J-Lo say this on her own. There is, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was a Entertainment Tonight interview or something. It's an old interview.
Mm-hmm.
But they had to run back in and get her. And you will hear Benny Medina and her say this. And the reason I'm sure Benny Medina said that because he was trying to separate, which it really was true, but he said it immediately because he was trying to separate her from the vicinity of the shooting.
Right.
To say, like, oh, he ran out because remember what I said, Shine and him retreated to the door. He wasn't next to her. She was still with the crowd. They retreated to the door. That's why he was so far away. But if you fire a gun, your first instinct is to run to your own safety. They ran out. Wolf had to go back and get J-Lo. A lot of people seem to forget this or gloss over it. Wolf had to go back in. So at that moment, he didn't even care enough about his woman. And you will also hear the detective say, once they scrutinized all of the surveillance tapes, the only people that walked in the club that weren't searched was Puffy and J-Lo. They didn't even say Shine. They said Puffy and J-Lo. So J-Lo brought them guns in. And she brought Shine's gun in too. Because I don't care where you're from. You know what it is in the hood. Guys that got those ride or die girls, they pass the gun to their shorty, whole list. Because they think who's gonna search J-Lo or who's gonna search the girl? They'll search the guy. So you brought everybody's gun.
Yeah.
But she got away.
I can believe that.
She's not gonna get away. She got away then. But the God I serve, he's an on-time God. You see this 25? He's an on-time God. Before I leave this earth, she will feel the recompense and the wrath of God. Our God said vengeance is his. And he is a jealous God. He's not playing. Anything you put before him, he will snatch it from you. You put your notoriety and your fame and your freedom and all this before God, he gonna snatch it right from you. That's what I'm going through right now. And so
I agree. Say so when the guns went off, you said pow pow, like one was higher than the other.
Shine's was higher and Puffy's was slightly lower.
So let's pick up
here's
when.
The thing. And I'm glad you pointed that out. Thank you for being so diligent about that.
I'm doing good. Am I doing good? I think I'm trying. I'm trying.
Great, Mike. You're doing great. And you said you're not great at interviewing, but you are. You are. I'm telling you. And I see increase. I see increase in your life and your show with more interviews in this coming year. So trust and believe.
Yeah, Jaguar coming on, but anyway, go ahead.
That's my sister. Shout out to Jaguar, right?
I know. So go ahead.
Look at
anybody who rolls with you, I'm down with. Period.
Asheo. And
Ronnie Bo, we're gonna talk about that later, but go ahead.
Absolutely.
Continue.
So when I got shot in my face at this height, Julius Jones is taller than me. He got shot in his shoulder. That is it shows the designation between the heights of the bullets that were fired and where they shot. Julius Jones is in the 6s.
Right.
He got
so
shot
his shoulders is so where he got shot at is higher or lower than where
higher
you got?
than me. He's taller than me, so he got shot than me.
So the first pow hit him and the second pow hit you.
I don't know that the first one hit him. I know that it went pow pow and that Puffy's bullet, Puffy was straight in the line side of me. And Shine was over here. So Puffy's bullet smack dab hit me. They could have, I don't know the ratio. I could have been standing more closer than he was. Either way, those bullets said pow pow and struck us both.
Wow.
And after I screamed out to God, no, I got work to do. When I looked over to the side, I saw Julius laying on that floor. Everybody was running. It was crazy. I got trampled. I got knocked down and trampled, and my leg was injured too. I tore my medial meniscus. I had to have leg surgery as well, corrective on my leg. But once they fired the shot, I felt like somebody hit me with a flaming hot sledgehammer. You know how we see on movies or documentaries where they're melding steel or something and it's red and flaming, red and orange flaming
Right.
embers? That's the way that looks, the level of heat and intensity that visually has is how it felt when it hit my face.
Wow. That's crazy.
I literally, the first person I looked at, they grasped their mouth and was like, oh, and backed away in disgust and shock and horror. And I just kept thinking, oh my God. Like, I literally instantly felt my body start to particulate. And those of you who have watched Star Trek, when they say beam me up, Scotty, and they start to pixelate and they disappear, that is what my body felt like instantly. I started to pixelate and I knew I was no longer solid flesh because I felt people had run to the door and it was cold December morning. And when that door flung open and that icy cold chill came in, I felt it come to me and pass through me and go out the back of me like a loosely knit sweater. And I instantly said, I'm dying, because I'd never felt this feeling before. I still, 25 years later, have nothing to compare that feeling with. It was a unique feeling unto itself. And that's why I can remember it so succinctly, because it was not like anything I'd ever experienced or since. And whatever transition I made, whether I made a transition from my flesh person to my spirit person, that happened in that moment. I'm certain.
Right.
And everybody was running to and fro, trying to get somewhere. People were afraid. It was just a melee. And when I got trampled, I started feeling through the crowd. Some people fell on top of me, and I started touching on the floor and touching for my friends, like, calling their names. Stacy, Kelly, y'all okay? Y'all okay? Diane, y'all all right? And I'm calling everybody's name, and I feel somebody touching my hand. They're like, yeah, we all right, Ab, we fine, we all right. And I said, I'm not all right. She said, yes, you are. I said, no, I got shot. And she started pushing people off of me. And this young lady she pushed off of me, I remember the young lady holding her hair and looking at it like this, looking back at it, and it being covered in my blood. It was just, I was spraying blood.
Wow. Oh
and
my
she
God.
literally was feeling her hair like, ew, what is this on me? And she was like just repulsed. And my friend was pushing them off, and everybody started screaming and jumping like, ah. And it just was chaos. But in a matter of no time, everybody just started to scatter. Everybody started to scatter. It was terrifying. Everybody was trying to get somewhere. And so while everybody was running away and trying to get somewhere and get to safety, the only two people that ran to me were these two young ladies that I'd known from Brooklyn, Keisha and Red.
Okay.
A few months ago, I recently found out that a friend of mine, Missy Lou, put up a picture on, I think it was Instagram or something like that. She put up a picture, and it was a picture with Red, Lil' Kim, herself, and another girl named Masada. When she put that picture up, she put everybody's name, but she put rest in peace to Red. I broke down crying. I was devastated. Because Red, and then I subsequently found out that Keisha has also passed away. They were sisters. Red and Keisha saved my life. They saved my life. And so I always say, as much as possible, I don't know if Red and Keisha had children. Of course, I lost contact with all of them when I had to be relocated by the district attorney's office because Puffy had put a hit on me. And they had a credible threat from a confidential informant that there was a bag on my head and they were trying to take me out. I had to be relocated by the district attorney's office. I lost contact with all of those people. I'm over, by the grace of God, through social media, I can still see people and see things. I was devastated to find out. That was a very sore point for me. That just happened a few months ago. It was a very sore point to me to find out that they are no longer with us, because they are my angels. When I tell you they saved my life, and I will forever speak their name. I will forever speak their name. I'm so grateful. When everybody else ran away, they ran to me. One dove over the bar and got a bunch of paper towels to give me, and the other came and was like, and she had the fortitude to not grab me. Red was like, "Come on, Ab, just walk over to me. Come to me. Come to me." Had the wisdom to know not to grab me and put me in shock.
Mm.
I will never forget that. I will never forget that. In fact, like you said, the carrot story, they are the ones that got me to the carrots. When
Right.
there was a door opening on the side that, we had in our periphery, I saw some people run past. And
Mm-hmm.
guy with long locks, I remember him vividly, and it was like two or three other women there. And they were running into this door. The door opened and they were running in, and it was the side door I had been standing at all night. I didn't even know it was a door there because it was all painted. It was monochromatic, so you couldn't distinguish a door from the wall. And
Mm.
when that door opened, we saw a bunch of bright light peer into us. And I said, hold, or she said, hold the door. And
Mm-hmm.
I can only imagine in their fear, they ran in to slam the door. And she said, open, she went and banged and said, open this effing door, open this effing door. And they eventually opened the door and we got in. And when we got in, people were moving to and fro. And I was awestruck by, the classic black and white checkerboard tiles.
Right.
Checkerboard tiles, but it looked like 9 million bloody feet print in my blood going in every direction. And I was
Yeah, I remember that part of your
stoic
story.
and terrified.
Mm-hmm.
And there were some, I always say, no disrespect, they looked like Mexican men, short Mexican men. They all had on half aprons. They had
Right.
aprons, they were full aprons, but they were just, the top part was folded down and they just were half around them. And they were standing still. They were stoic. But
Mm-hmm.
the rest of the people were running around trying to get somewhere or get to safety. And I just was, the only thing that was stationary and looked still and strong were these boxes of carrots, 5 boxes of carrots stacked kind of askew. Like they weren't in a straight thing. They were kind of like somebody was putting the boxes, so they threw one down and then put one in. It was kind of sideways and the next one kind of sideways. And they
Mm-hmm.
were 5 boxes tall, but they looked so strong and steady. And I had my bag on my hand through the loop of my bag. And I
Mm-hmm.
literally just was holding the paper towels to my face. And I went and stood by the carrots. And I held
Mm.
a box of carrots because they held me up. Like they were the only thing that looked strong enough to hold me up. And it was just this amazing, weird experience. Like I don't know what to call it. Like, I mean, I know it sounds weird, but those carrots mean something to me to this day.
Exactly. That's
Because
the
when I wasn't able to hold myself up, they held me up.
right. Right. Oh my goodness. I cannot believe how your friends can actually witness and be there and see all this happen and all these people. Then all of a sudden
Disappear.
they just disappear like, I ain't, this is too
Disappear.
big for me. But what about your friend? So imagine if it's too big for you. So it's too big for her too. So now she got to take it all by herself.
But to God be the glory. This was the beginning of my faith walk. God said, I will, the word says, if God can trust you with a little bit, he knows he can trust you with much. And so,
Mm.
God, along the lines of your life, you will ask God for things and he will give you a little. And you'll be like, God, I needed this much and you gave me a little bit. God is testing to see what you're going to do with that little bit. If you are willing to suffer gladly and not be weary in well doing, God will test you. And the
Right.
length of your test has to do with God and whatever lessons you need to get and whatever journey you need to take.
Right. So
Also, through my experience, he wanted to teach people a lesson about faith. I
right.
promise this is about faith, the evidence of things unseen. Let's see how steadfast this woman is. Let me see how
Mm.
long she is willing to cry aloud and spare not and speak the truth without any evidence of getting what she is called for and the success and the justice. Let me see how long she's willing to walk this walk, and I will give to her an abundant blessing. She would not have enough things to carry it in.
Yeah, tell me about
That's
it.
what this is. This is
Right.
not just an experience for me. This is a lesson for the world. I literally, God has used me as his vessel to exemplify to the world what faith looks like.
What it
What
looks like.
faith looks like.
What it
Remember,
looks
I
like.
didn't have examples of success throughout this. Yes, I had a civil settlement from him and he had to pay it. Shine still owes me $500,000 from that settlement, and I want it, and I'm gonna get it.
Right.
However,
that's one of the
never,
questions. Yeah, that's one of the questions I had for you, because somebody who think that you're lying sent me documents, and I keep telling people, I said, you don't know, like, I think the document said that it was $1.8 million or something you sued Puffy or something. I mean,
so
you don't have to
no,
tell us if you don't want.
So those are portions that I can't speak on, and that's not how much I sued him for. And those are portions I can't give definitive.
Right.
But I absolutely unequivocally got a settlement. It's not in dispute. It's not in dispute with anybody. And Shine still owes me money.
Right. And the thing that tripped me out is, see, the news tells you one thing and put these numbers up there.
Of course.
But long story short, that ain't the numbers that hit your bank account. And I'm talking from experience.
No.
Is that fair?
For way more than that. I sued him for way more than that.
Yeah.
I sued him for way more than that. And this is how it was structured by the attorneys.
Right. But I guess my question, I mean, for that dude can shut up. Did a large sum of money hit your bank account?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
They know that. Listen, let me tell you what.
Good. Well, good. I'm happy for you.
Our people. Let me tell you one thing that our Black people need to do. They need to get back right and stop pocket watching. That's from the block. Stop pocket watching. What is the cost? What is the expense of 25 years of toiling with 9 bullet fragments in my face, with a seizure disorder, traumatic brain injury, migraines, all types of PTSD, all types of physical impairments, a torn medial meniscus, leg surgery, aspirated a bullet that was going down to my lungs, and they had to go in, slice my mouth from the very front all the way down my throat to remove this bullet fragment, not the least of which is social anxiety disorder, a whole host of physical problems. My brain would swell, my head would swell so bad. Listen,
you can't put a value on that.
I was supposed to get, and you can't put a number on that. But people, everybody, but Black people mostly, need to stop pocket watching and trying to determine who is entitled to something as opposed to who is not. What you're doing is hating. And let me tell you something good. Hear me today and take it as gospel. If God chooses an anointed one, someone that he deems to be chosen, and he sets out a blessing and a mission for that chosen one, even if they have to walk through a journey, any part of that journey that you speak against, that you fight against, that you try to interrupt, God will strike you. You will be struck in a way you cannot recover from. I'm telling you, mind your business. Let me put that up for me and for everything going forward. Mind your business. That includes content creators who take their time to gaslight, use your name, write horrendous, one that's laughable. I have to laugh at it all the time. I thought it was hilarious, and it is not the flex that he thinks it is. He called me a Haitian voodoo priestess with a fake Jamaican accent. He said a few other things too, but that's the part I remember. It's laughable. Not the flex you think it is, boo. There is no insult of being Haitian. My godmother and a whole lot of my family and play cousins are Haitian. I love them. My grandchild's family is Haitian. I love it. And Haitians are the first Black nation to win their independence, boo. 1804. Get yourself right. Act like you get some act right. When you think you coming for me, you coming for yourself. Any hole you think you dig for me, you're digging for yourself. You cannot touch. Father God said, touch not my anointed ones and do profit no harm. Keep on. Are you here? Keep on messing with me. You hear? You are damning yourself to eternal damnation. Have at it, boo.
And plus, one of the things that people don't realize is you got 2 kids. And when this incident, 3 kids.
I had 2 when it happened.
Right, when it happened. That's what I'm saying. Well, when it happened, you had 2. There's no money amount that can go through the strain that they went through as well. What about, because I remember you telling the story about your son had to put on blinders to help you shower or bathe and all that stuff. You want to talk about that?
Absolutely. My son had to put on, so you know that little sleeping mask that people wear? He would put on a sleeping mask and hold me up because, like I said, my leg was in, I had a whole leg I had leg surgery, and then I was in this large leg immobilizer that went all the way up. We had to cover it in garbage bags. I couldn't, and I told you my equilibrium is off, so I couldn't hold myself up, but I had to bathe. My son would hold me up while I bathed because he didn't want to dare look on his mother's naked body. My son, I literally spoke to my son the other day. He was visiting for the holidays. I said, let me ask you a question. How does all of this impact your life? How do you feel? What is your take on it? And he was like, Mommy, he paused for a long time, and he just was like, I am so happy. I lived to see everything that we endured. It was this case, he reminded me, that caused him to start having anxiety attacks. He had his first anxiety attack in school because kids were teasing him that his mother got pow by Puffy. And he had an anxiety attack in school. He reminded me of that. And he says he feels triggering again. He didn't want to say anything because he didn't want to trigger me or take away the joy of the recompense that I'm receiving now.
Can you imagine that?
Yeah. And he's 35. This happened when he was 7.
Can you imagine that? He took all that for his mother. Because I know you're going through stuff, Mom. So I don't even want to burden you with the stuff I'm going through. So I'm gonna keep my mouth shut, and I'm gonna be a man and take it. That's crazy.
And because I make sure to ask all of my kids, how is this impacting your life?
I'm glad you did that.
My middle son, he don't want no attachment, nothing. He don't want his face, nothing. He does not want it. He has always been like that. I don't want to be attacked because it is heavy. He went through his own stuff. He endured a lot. You understand? My kids endured a lot. And then my daughter, just the other day, I was doing, I think I was doing a live, and my daughter texting me. She was like, oh my God, Mommy, I feel so awkward. And I was like, what? What's going on? And she's like, she was in, I think, her AP literature class or somewhere, maybe honors. She's all AP, all honors. My child is, all of my children are brilliant. And she said, they're talking about the case. And she's like, oh my God, I feel so uncomfortable. And I was like, oh no. I said, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry I've done this to your life. Like, please don't feel inclined to say anything, and don't let them know. Like, and he was like, they're talking about, but they're saying so many things. There's so many opinions, and so many of them are wrong. And I was like, don't feel the need to correct them. Don't.
Can you imagine? These are your kids. Can you imagine what they're going through? And you, as a mother, you're trying to help them go through the truth that they know that happened to their mommy. And you sitting there trying to support them because you know it happened to you.
Exactly. Well, listen, we can't erase it. It is the center of our existence. And you know what he said to me? He said, I don't ever want you to think I don't support you. My silence is not a lack of support. It is holding myself in the middle of the road and keeping steady so I don't break down again. He's like, I don't want to fall back into anxiety attacks, but I'm so concerned about your safety, because now that these people are losing everything, they are more inclined to do harm. I worry about you guys.
Right.
And I really
How can you put a value on that? You can't put a money value on that. It's almost like you don't want the money. I just want all this to be gone. Take the money and the stuff to be gone. That way I can live a normal, happy life.
And here's the deal. I had the ability to do so. Even though I continue to beat the drumbeat and speak that this man did this to me, I did have some anonymity. I had a girlfriend that was on my 25th special the other day, Chessa. We were friends for years. I never told her who I was, like that I was the woman that got shot. We were friends for years. She had no idea. She only found that out probably 5 years ago because she was at work one night on YouTube and a story came up about me, and she was like, what? This is my friend. That's what? I got to call her now. This is craziness. What are they saying? This can't be true. I know this woman. And when she called me, she was like, hey, they up here saying you got shot by Puffy. What? I know you. What are they talking about? I said, I did. She was like, that was you? She was shocked. But here's the thing, and why I love her so much. She never switched up on me. She never changed. She never modified how she treated me. Nothing. It was always consistent. And I can't say that about everybody.
Right, right,
All
right.
the people that came up and spoke positively about me, there are some people who switched up on me, got brand new. And I can only imagine that it was the hidden hand paying them.
Mm, mm, mm. I want to say shout out to FFS. He dropped the super chat or super sticker or whatever y'all super call this stuff. And he says, "Oh, where my glasses at? Dopest nerd. My love goes out to you. Glad you are here now. Most
Thank you.
definitely. We are so glad. I am glad that you got the strength to tell your story, keep going. And it's amazing how people uh try to use your story and
Mhm.
everything for their personal benefit.
Yep.
And I'm here to let you know that this whole channel, I'm wishing that the Lord will bless it with $1 million, because we're going to give back and help. We're doing the best we can to help people.
Mhm.
That's the only two words I want everybody to know that's coming out of my mouth. Help people. When people need help, imagine everybody think they know what's good for other people, man. I can't shame on you for people that's listening that know that I'm talking about you. Shame on you to have the
Mhm.
audacity to point the finger at somebody else when you can't even get your own life together.
And
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you what that is, Mike. People will never consider like you hear a lot of people that are still like, oh, they just trying to tear a good black man down. You know why those people can't see, hear, receive the information that they are guilty? Because they are in their own lives doing the very same thing to someone. And when
Mm-hmm.
you're actively participating in a level of evil, wickedness, deceit, it's hard for you to judge another person for doing the same thing you're doing. You find a way to minimize it away and say, oh, this person is, they lying, or the young people, they capping, they want clout. When I tell you that used to irritate me, I had to say, okay, don't let it
Mm-hmm.
again, because they weren't even alive. Most of them that are up there with the, she's capping, she want to take a good man down. No, I'm not. They're
And they don't
human.
even know the whole story. That's the part
No.
that killed me. They don't
And
even know half the story.
how could they? They weren't born. Some of them were in diapers. How could you know the news? That's what I tell people. You don't really know who your parents are because you weren't there. You only know them under the guise of them being your mother and rearing you. But who they were as individual people prior to your existence, you don't have the gravity of the weight. You have to let that be, you have to elicit that information from people. Tell me
Mm-hmm.
about my mom. Tell me about my dad. You don't know. So a lot
Wow.
of people out here trying to minimize their parents and put their parents down. You old, you slow, you this. You don't know who your mama is. Your mama could be the flyest thing out, and so could your daddy. Talk to
Right.
your uncles. That's what you got uncles and aunts for, so they can tell you that which you could never know firsthand. But
Come
with
on now.
love
You
and with
know.
eye, people gotta factor those
Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm.
things, people got to factor those things in. But
Yeah.
I appreciate my kids for, and I always want to check in with them. I
Mm-hmm.
appreciate them for supporting me in this journey. It wasn't easy. There was a time where after I got hurt, I fell so deep into depression and into this vulnerable state that my children became my sons. They were the only ones that existed at the time. My daughter is
Mm-hmm.
significantly younger. My sons became the parents, and I was the child.
Right.
They
Um,
took me,
have, have you heard of Ali Carter, right?
of course.
Yeah, okay. Ali Carter. And here's the thing that some people say, well, what are y'all doing? What is Ali Carter doing to help the kids? What is Natasha doing to help? What are they just talking? What are they doing what is Jaguar Wright doing to help? Okay, let's take that
And
same question and ask you, what are you doing to help? Because right now
thank you,
here's what
thank you.
here's what we're doing. We at least we're putting the message out there. Big homie CC, at least all these people putting the message out there, they taking up because nobody believed your message. I didn't believe it.
It's
I
okay.
didn't believe your that she lying. She ain't get shot. And then when you start putting the puzzle together and you start saying, Jesus Christ, this girl got shot in the face by
Mm-hmm.
Puffy.
And I'm gonna
Because
tell you, the
did
largest
you
part of the bullet, the
mm-hmm,
largest part of the bullet is right here.
right.
I've been having this morning. I woke up. I don't know, for the past few days, something has been going on with this eye.
Right.
I don't
So
see when I was on the anniversary special, I kept rubbing this eye. Something's going on right now with this eye.
so
I don't know.
if you would have came to the club with those high heels on, right?
No, I came to the club with the high heels
I
on.
mean, without
When I got
that's me.
trampled,
Yeah,
the
you're
heel
right. Go ahead.
broke.
Talk about that. That's what
So
I want to hear.
when I got trampled, one of the heels on the boot broke.
Mm-hmm.
However, when I got out of surgery and in the hospital, and the surgeon came to the bed and he was like, "Wow," I had to come. He came by my room and he was like, "Hey, kiddo, how you doing?" And I said, "I'm good. To God be the glory. Thank you." And he
Mm-hmm.
was like, "I am so shocked to know that you are not only that you survived." He said, "The path that the bullet took in your brain, there's no reason you should still be here. There's really
Mm.
no reason." He said, "But not only are you alive, you're in here awake and talking." He said, "I'm a man of science. I've always been a man of science. I don't disrespect anybody's religious beliefs or whatever, but I'm a man of science." He said, "But one thing I know today, that there is a God, because you are a living miracle. The path that the bullet took in your head, you should not be here." He
Mm-hmm.
said, "I've never seen a person survive that level of injury." So this is to let you know God is in the midst of it all.
Mm.
Not only
Mm-hmm.
am I here, not only did I survive then, I'm here 25 years later through the thick of it. It was
Mm.
not an easy journey. I will
Mm-hmm.
not act like this was an easy road to walk. It was not by any stretch of the imagination.
Right. So
But when
if
the bullet, what he said was, "What's this I hear about a boot?" And my mother said, well, he said, "What's this I hear about a heel?" So my
Mhm.
mother said, "Oh, by then the heel had completely separated from the boot." So she said, "Oh, her boots are in her belongings. You know how they put your stuff under the bed?"
Right, right,
So
right.
she goes in the little plastic bag and she takes out the boot and the heel. He
Mm-hmm.
took the heel and he put it to my nose and he said, he just let out a sigh and just hit his hip. He's like, "Let me tell you something." He said, "Had you been wearing flats, you wouldn't be here. The heel of the boot from my entry point to the smack dab in the middle of my forehead." He said, "If you were wearing anything shorter than this heel, that bullet would have smacked you smack dab in the middle and took you out instantly. You would not be here."
Wow.
Hallelujah.
So,
Ashayo. The
mm,
goodness of God and obedience.
mm-hmm.
God
Come on
told me to
now.
go change my shoes. I could have easily darted out of that door because they were blowing the horn and frustrated. But my
Mm-hmm.
walk with God is not by chance. What is God speaking to you in your life right now? Everybody at the sound of my voice that you are not being obedient with. Write
Mm-hmm.
that book. Tell your story. Speak your
Mm-hmm.
truth.
Mm.
Quit that job.
Mm-hmm.
Take that job.
I
Start
quit
that
that
business.
job. Right. That
Start
is
that business.
mm,
Leave
mm,
that.
mm.
Marry that woman. I don't care what it is.
That
God
God is
has
saying you
been
do.
telling all of you that you had something to do. Do it. The longer it takes for you to do it, the longer it takes for you to get from glory to glory. Do it.
Mm-hmm. And start helping people.
Obedience. Obedience. Obedience.
Mm.
Obedience. Faith. Obedience. Be not weary in well doing. Be
A,
not weary in well doing.
a lot of people, I got the book, right?
Mhm.
And you told me to read the book and I tried, but that Courtney dude that didn't even read the book himself, and I started reading it and everything. I still haven't gotten to the part where you're in this book.
You got to get to that chapter, Mike. You got to
Yeah, I
get.
gotta get. I'm sorry. I'm telling on myself because I promised you I was gonna read it. So I'm gonna read it.
It's
I've
that
been so
chapter,
busy.
but I'll give your audience a little note on what
Please.
the chapter is. So before that book came out, I was contacted
Mm-hmm.
and told, "I have something that you need to see," and I was like,
What?
"Who is this? And where'd you get my number?" And
Mhm.
they said, and I didn't answer at first, but I was saying these things to myself, like, "Who is this? I don't know what this is." And so I didn't trust. That's one of my main things, trust. And I couldn't trust it. I was like, "What is this out of the blue?" This is before any of this started. And they said, "I have something you need to see. It's about to be published, but I need you to see it first. I don't want you to find out when everybody else finds out." And
Mm.
it was portion of the book that said when they were in the house, that J-Lo came to the house the next day banging on the door, and she screamed at him and said, "What the F is wrong with you? Why did you shoot that lady in the club? We got security to do that." Well, you brought the guns in, heifer. So what do you? But it's Kim writes about J-Lo coming to the house the next day, going crazy on him about the fact that he shot me. And he was blasé and passé about, "Oh, don't worry, you will never spend a day in jail." Well, he was right about that part, because he said, "We're going to get off. Money talks," and all this stuff. And he was right up until this, but the God I serve.
But the fact of the matter is that somebody actually printed out that J-Lo saying, "Why did you shoot?"
Why did you
Meaning that Puffy shot a gun in the club.
But here's the thing. Everybody in New York knew it. It wasn't no secret.
Right, I know.
This thing was buzzing in the streets. Everybody knew he did it.
And then you have
money and the sleight of hand.
Then you have the police officers or somebody saying that I saw a white hand toss the gun on that guy's hood of his car.
Mike, you're excellent at interviewing. Don't ever doubt yourself, brother.
I'm just looking for the truth.
Yes. So in that, after the gun was fired and they escaped from the club, and Wolf eventually got J-Lo, she got in the truck. They were already in the truck. They instructed the driver to flee. And this was just a regular guy like you and me working. He was the driver. He like, what? They like, you better go drive. So they take off from the club and they're speeding through red light
red lights and everything.
And the cops started chasing them. They ran so far. Where the club is Midtown South. Where they ended up getting arrested is Midtown North. And I already told you, New York City blocks are long, and they ran mad red lights. They was fleeing to get away. Now, the cops chased them, but while the cops was chasing them, a white hand came out of the rear passenger window of they were in a Lincoln Navigator. And a white hand came out of a Lincoln Navigator, a little white, they said a female's hand, threw the gun out the window, and it landed on this man's car. He was sitting in the car. He's one of those guys that drive escorts, to their gigs and back home. So when the gun landed on his car, he said that when the Navigator continued to flee, then he saw some cops flying behind them. And he was just like, what is going on? So, excuse me. Let me plug in my phone so it doesn't die.
Right. But the thing is, you are home. You do what you need to do. You are at home. So and I don't know how much time you have, but we ain't even finished the daggone. I love you. That's all I gotta say. You are so beautiful.
Thank you.
You got a home here, girl. Because I got some people. We'll go to bat for you. I'm just letting you know. All you got to do is accidentally tell me the word.
Thank you.
So most definitely. Because there's some channels. Shame on y'all. There's some channel doing some stupidity stuff.
Well, here's what it is. It is. There is a light in me and around me. And I say this in total humility and submission under God. There is a light, and it's attractive. And it attracts the good and the bad. The bad, they think they're doing whatever they think they're doing. But I'll tell you, the light is of God. They can't help but to be attracted to me. What they're doing is they're trying to manifest that into something bad, but we know what the word says. They will take something and make it for bad, and God will make it for good. So not in the
and then you got Maggie. She was crying. I was so mad. I said, stop that crying. Don't you cry. Why would they say all this stuff about me? Forget them.
Here's the deal. What they say doesn't matter to me. I rolls off my back like water on a duck. Because I done slayed many giants. Okay? I have slain many giants. And I got a slingshot, some rocks in my hand, and a pocket full of rocks. I ain't worried about them. Just like David and Goliath. As big as you think you are, it's just a stone throw away.
Right.
It's a stone throw away to knock you off of that haughty and nefarious box you're standing on and make you fall to the depths. I'm not going to rebuke them to the depths of hell. I'm going to hand them over. I'm going to rebuke them, but hand them over to God. God does fighting for me.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna answer
Shout out
them.
to the LA chick. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you,
Shout out to
Natania.
the LA chick.
Yeah, yeah. Can you see that? I don't know what you can see.
I see LA chick, and let's see. Let me put my glasses back on.
To the Mars. She said
Okay.
to, yeah, to the Mars. Oh, you can see that? Oh, because it's real small on the phone. You're using a cell phone, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Absolutely.
I tell everybody, you know, our channel, all the this is when you know people don't listen to you, right? Watch this. Anytime somebody sends a donation, my, for lack of a better word, thinks she's an accountant. Yeah, I'm talking about you again. Her job is to, like, okay, this says 1999. So that 1999 goes toward our fundraiser called Feed, where we feed kids that don't have no food and stuff. So,
Beautiful.
but she telling me,
Party.
she thank you, thank you. She telling me that, nah, well, you got to take the 30% out because YouTube take 30% of this money that people donate,
Absolutely.
right?
She's correct.
Right.
She's
She
correct.
right, but she wrong. I said the 1999 go over there. Nah, you got to take out the 30%. No, that person donated $19 to the charity. So the whole church, I paid the daggone 30%.
There you go.
I paid the 30%, and she gonna sit there and argue with me. So I'm telling her, let's say it one more time. You done said it 3 times. 4 strikes, you out. That's what I told her. You can do this, or I can sit here and do it, because when somebody put $5 up, we put $5 to the account. If they put $10 up, we put 10. 30, but you got to take out the 30. You cheating yourself.
Well, here's the deal. She means well. Give her some grace and mercy.
I
Just
gave her grace and mercy. 3 strikes, you out. But she got the point now. She got the point
grace
now. Yeah.
and mercy
So
is the way it is. I just think of how many times we said to God, God, please, I promise this time, if you only blah blah blah, I'm going
mm-hmm,
to blah blah. We done
mm-hmm,
did that millions of times.
right,
So far be it from me to put somebody else on a limit of how much grace and mercy they're entitled to when God
right.
has given us an overabundance of it.
We working on music. And you said you write, you still writing? You want to do some singing?
Sure.
I
I
wanna
write.
I got I'm gonna have my people send you. I did a folder of
Mhm.
it's 12 right now. It's just 12 beats from back in the
Okay.
day. I do a lot of
Yeah.
music and stuff. I
I
play
love
5
classic
instruments.
music. I
Yeah.
love classic music. So what is it, like 90s kind of vibe?
Well, yeah, it's a little hip hop or whatever. But what I'm gonna do is I'm going on vacation. I'm going to the Philippines.
Nice.
And just to show you real quick, Crystal is in the chat. She donated a bunch of shoes, and they
Nice.
girlfriend. So we taking these over to the Philippines, different shoes and stuff. It's 2 big boxes. We have a laptop and everything. I'm just showing off how God is using us to do this type of stuff.
God is an awesome God, and He
And
calls.
I actually showed the shoes and stuff to my play sister over in the Philippines, and the kids was like, wow, that's for us. Shoes, right? Shoes. Get it?
Mhm.
Um we're gonna go over there and we're gonna start a farming. They have land and they have workers, but they can't pay the workers.
Mhm.
So it's almost like, well, everybody got to eat, but we got to pay the workers so we can make the food so we can eat, but you got to pay the workers. So
Peanut
we're
butter and jelly
raising,
bread, and
yeah,
so
we
you.
raising the money to pay the workers, and you ain't gonna believe this. Guess how much? I said, are you sure that's all? They need $250 to farm the land, and I think they got like 5 to 8 workers, and they
Because it's.
telling me, I'm sorry to ask for that amount. That's a lot of money
Mhm.
in pesos because they use pesos.
Mhm.
$250. I said, man, when we finish this, I'm going to get me a big bucket of Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Listen,
They, they,
that exchange rate. I try to exemplify this to people. The
mm-hmm,
value you place on something that's small. If I can trust you with the little, I can trust.
mm-hmm.
Something
And
may be small in our eyes and massive in someone else's eyes. And so,
right,
out to you for doing that, Mike. Like,
right.
doing the work.
Good people know good people. And I
Absolutely.
knew when I saw you, They talk about Sean, but hell, they talked about Jesus Christ.
Hey, that's what my grandmother always said to me when I used to go to her and say, "Grandma, they keep talking about me." She said, "But they talk about Jesus. Who is you?"
Yeah, I like when you
Collected
do
and
that.
gathered me. I was like, "Well, okay then."
I like that accent because I can't do no accents. I can't do nobody's voice or anything like that. Oh, that's Miss Ooh, I am for real. Nafisha Jackson, $10 again. So excited to hear your voice, and I'm sure it's a beautiful as soon as the spirit hits. Yeah, I think she does music. She's trying to do a YouTube channel or something, and we're going to help her and everything. It is so much help going on
And a way
from the
that you guys,
channel.
yeah, and a way that you guys can help me is go subscribe, be a follower. I have great content. I have great content. It's
Yeah.
a different experience on YouTube, and I'm comfortable standing in my faith. I know it rubs some people the wrong way because
What's your channel? Oh, Gone Cookie. No, they already got it up there. They got the link up there. Gone Cookie.
Thank you. Yes, I'm the dopest nerd. THA, dopest nerd. All of my stuff is the same. The dopest nerd at gmail.com is my email. The dopest nerd, $ dopest nerd. $ dopest nerd. THA, dopest nerd. On Cash App if you so choose. And everything. We're just dopest nerd, everything. The dopest nerd.
Do you have any music of you singing even back in the day or anything?
No, I have a song that I did with a rapper on my channel. If you go on my channel, you'll see it has a yellow label on a black record, and it's called "How It's Going Down." Yeah.
Wow.
I did it with a rapper. That was back in the 90s.
Yeah. Because as a producer, I want to produce some music for you, Jaguar. Basically, we putting together this. I keep saying CD. They laugh at me because I'm old school. We put together a CD.
There you go.
To raise money to help the kids, help people that victims and everything.
Twice.
Because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to put together a money cycle so we can and I really want you to help us decide on what we need to do and what we don't need to do.
Absolutely.
Your voice
foremost.
Yeah, your voice is very big. If you say, Mike, I don't think we need to do that. Yes, ma'am, no problem. You and Jaguar, I'm listening to. You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate that. And shout out again to my sis Jaguar. Let me tell you something about this mighty woman of God. First of all, always watch to see who the masses try to go after and tear down. A lot of people think, oh, that must be the bad guy. No. If too many people are trying to tear one person down, you better check on that one person and see what kind of goods they have in their storehouse, because there's something special about them. When a bunch of people, like the word says, God will prepare a table before your enemies. Prepare a table for your enemies. They don't want her voice out there because she is speaking truth for so long, and it is tearing down the negative strongholds.
Right.
She's been tearing down negative strongholds, and they don't like it. When you're not the quintessential victim, see, they like the victim that's and shrugs away and cowers in fear and doesn't ever speak up. That's who victimizers want to victimize. People who will be so vulnerable that they're afraid to speak up. I am not the quintessential victim. I am not the quintessential anything. I am the only quintessential thing I am is a quintessential faith walker. And yeah, but for the victimization, I don't check any of their boxes, and they don't like me. And that's why they had this bag on my head for all this time, because I am going to cry aloud and spare not. You can't get away. The irony is that I was watching YouTube on the 27th. He had a meltdown Puffy had a meltdown in jail. And they said he was so enraged and excitable and having this anxiety attack or whatever, and he could not calm himself down. They said it took hours for him to get calmed down with some type of breathing techniques or something like that. He was asking to go to the hospital.
Right.
And look at it.
Because it's hitting him. It takes some time sometimes. It's hitting you. Boy, you are. And what makes it so bad is people think that what's hitting him is he locked up. No, brother. What's hitting you is God is telling you that you did a lot of terrible things.
God is, what's hitting him is he cannot calm down on the 27th because he's remembering that December 27th, 1999, where he shot me in the face. And 25 years later, the tables are turned. I am having a Jubilee celebration and my glory moment, and he is locked in a box. And guess where he wants to go? To a hospital, right where I was 25 years ago. And they said no. And it was just his manipulation. Now, I don't revel in anybody's suffering. I don't revel in anybody's suffering. But I want you to feel that good suffering. Because like I said on that TikTok that I made after Little Rod's lawsuit came out and 𝗟𝗢𝗡𝗚 was reading the lawsuit, I said in that first TikTok, I'm going to get 1,000,000 tears for every one I shed for you. Drop your tears. Fill that bucket.
And what makes it so bad is this. You have said, I knew you was gonna make me forget. You had said, I got it. I'm trying to remember for you. You have said if they would have not lied and paid off people back then and Puffy would have been put in jail, think of all the people that got hurt these other years, 25 years of pain on other people. These people coming forward, 120 people are being offed. None of this would have happened if they would have just been honest from the jump and not take bribes and everything.
And listen to me.
That was deep.
Had they just listened to me. Had they just listened to me. My firsthand account, not just a witness, the firsthand victim survivor account. Listen to me.
25 years ago.
25 years ago. All of these people would not have had.
Now think about it. Now the public is only thinking about the 120 cases or whatever, the stuff they know.
There's tons more.
Right. We talking about the stuff we know about. What about all the stuff we don't know about that he did that he actually got away with? Like blowing up somebody's car. How many times you blew up somebody's car, boy?
Listen. And shout out to Nick's Mountain Goat Productions. I see
that. Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, there you go.
No.
Mike, you are so lucky to have the lovely Natania on your channel. I am lucky. I didn't say coconuts. Coconut, let me tell you what coconuts is. Natania, I'm a big jokester, right? Thank you so much. I can't stand coconuts. I don't like coconuts. I don't like coconut hair. I don't like coconut oil. I don't even like cocoa butter because I don't like coconut. They make me throw up and all this stuff.
Oh, wow.
I can't stand coconut. So the chat would throw coconuts up if I'm too loud, I'm getting too ugly because I'm a fighter. Sometimes I'll be in here fighting people. One time a girl she said, well, what is your plan, Mike? We was talking about helping the kids. We talking about we got a logo that we did. We had made a lot of we went forward a lot. We talked about the CD, I can make music, the production people, everybody can do this. Let's take what Puffy and them thought they was doing is music, and let's show them how to do it.
That's right.
People. That's my thing. You understand what I'm saying? All this negative stuff in the music industry and all this stuff y'all done did to Justin Bieber and Usher and all this stupid stuff. Let's take all the stupid stuff down and say, let's enjoy and have fun. I'm not here to judge and say, well, girl, you can't sing. Put whatever your voice is. You're happy. Everybody happy. They want to hear you. They want to hear your voice. People want to hear you. So whatever you is, let me do the best I can to make this thing with the nice salt and pepper and everything. You understand what I'm saying? So, I forgot where I was going.
You were saying that they throw coconuts when you're too hype.
So the coconuts come up in the air and it's okay, y'all. Because first they was gonna say pineapples, Kevin Hart used the pineapple. So I said coconuts. So I let people know when they come on, if you see coconuts, they that means they don't like what you're saying, Mike. They don't
and guess what? You might be missing your blessing because coconut is so healthy for your body, mind, everything.
Here we go, y'all. Coconuts. Everybody says that. Natania, everybody says that. They say, but coconut is one of the best things for your skin, your hair.
It's an antimicrobial, antibacterial. It is so good for your oral health care. Coconut. If you put coconut oil every morning and do oil pulling, it's one of the healthiest things you could do for your body.
That's
And
one
it's
thing.
internally as well. If you drink coconut water, all of that is so good for you. The coconut jelly, you're missing out.
Yep, I am missing out, and I'm gonna keep missing. I'm going to get me some Kentucky Fried Chicken after that.
Mike said, later for your coconuts. I got this Kentucky Fried Chicken. I ain't mad at you, Mike.
Man, okay. I wanted. We hit on enough. I don't like to talk about other people's channels. If that's the way they run their channels, that's their business. But that you was on with Maggie before, and you was on with Sean Otwood.
Shout out to everybody who's been supportive in this landscape. Jaguar Wright,
Right.
Odell, Sean Atwood channel, your channel.
Ronnie Bo. That's what I wanted to talk to you. That's the last thing I wanted to talk to you about. Ronnie Bo. You heard that, but he was only in jail for he didn't overnight in jail. He went into hiding on his own, so to speak. Did you hear that?
I did.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure you.
Yeah, I knew. So when we first realized that Ronnie was missing, one of my subscribers realized it. She got that email and tried to call him and couldn't get him. So she instantly started. She sent me an email and I didn't get it. And then shout out to Auntie Leah. I didn't get it. And so while I was on the phone with my mod, shout out to the dopest mod Locked. We were on the phone, and then I started hearing these little chimes in the background, like ching ching on my other phone. And who is sending me a bunch of cash apps? Well, we're doing a fundraiser, and if any one of your people want to help, we're doing a fundraiser. We went to Chick-fil-A. The young kids were standing outside in the cold with no coats on. When I asked them, why don't you have on a coat? She said, we have to buy a Chick-fil-A coat to wear to stand outside to do Chick-fil-A's work. And she's like, I'm young. I don't really have it like that. So I don't want to take my paycheck to buy a coat. I'm trying to do some things. And I just was so saddened by that. Yeah, we're doing a fundraiser. I wanted to at least help 4 of the kids. Now, when I did go up to Chick-fil-A, I was told that I could not videotape them. So I was like, okay, but we're still doing we didn't reach our goal yet. We're trying to do a fundraiser to just help them, give them gift cards and let them buy their coats so they don't have to take it out of their paycheck. I thought that was crazy. And it was
I'm different. When people tell me I can't record.
Brick. Okay.
Yeah.
And this girl had on this little, like a fleece.
Right. So they can't wear their personal coat because it got to have Chick-fil-A stuff on it.
Logo on it. And I was just like, what?
Yeah, I would have been filming.
We haven't met our threshold. So if you guys want to help with that, feel free to send something to $THA. Now, since my channel rose, somebody that went and made a THE dopest nerd cash app. Don't fall for the okie doke, y'all. Everything with me is THA. So THA DOPEST NERD. $THA DOPEST NERD. The dopest nerd. Do not send it to THE because somebody's trying to slick y'all. And if blessing, just write in the line for the coats, and we will be able to go get them. Reach our goal and be able to give them their coats, because and it was a tough season to try to do that because people are trying to get gifts for their kids and things like that. People are struggling. We understand what it is, but we do want to be a blessing to these young people because it was just far too cold. I thought that was crazy. I'm like, you got
right, and then they're gonna tell you that you can't film. Don't you? I'm bored.
Now, what I will do though is do the still shots. I will do still shots, but
I would film. What make it so bad? I have 3 cameras on this. You said I can't do what? Film this, y'all. You said I can't. Why I can't film? Because I'm
gonna have my daughter. I will have my daughter doing some background, like filming from a distance with her cell phone, just so we're not in their face, violating anything. But I will have her catch it. That's my trusty show producer that you guys hear me talk about all the time.
Yeah, I'm not gonna show my cameras, but if this is law, I got criminal justice degree, and I was trying to tell people that if you got this is your private property, Chick-fil-A, for example. But if you on public property filming into the Chick-fil-A, they can't say nothing.
Yeah. What I'll do is have her from by the car. They're not like in a mall. They are a standalone whole Chick-fil-A comp,
right.
complex. So
on the outside of the mall, like a McDonald's or something.
No, not at the mall. They're on the street. So they
Right,
are
like a
literally
McDonald's on the street.
exactly. So
You ride down the street, you see Chick-fil-A. Right. So you can stand right at the highway with a zoom in and have your body microphone on and all that. I got all that equipment. I'm dangerous, girl. I'm dangerous.
Listen, I see a rule breaker, my own kind. But I have my daughter standing by the car filming so that we're not directly in their face. You know,
right.
But I'm excited for them to get this because she was so cold out there, and I was just like, it broke my heart. And my daughter was, wow, mommy, like I feel so blessed because if it was me, you know, I would be like, forget it, I don't need this job. Like it was cold out there, and I found that to be so weird. I was like, you assigned them outside. When they signed up for a job, they didn't sign up to stand outside. You assign them out there. If nothing else, as a corporate entity, I think they need to just buy jackets, have them there, so when somebody is assigned, they can use the jackets, and then you just launder them frequently. Like that sounds like it makes sense to me, but you know, who am I to tell them? All we can do is stand in the gap and do what we can do when
everybody right.
Injustice,
we were talking about a Chick-fil-A. I always see the lines, long lines at Chick-fil-A. How many?
Long. You know how
every Chick-fil-A should buy what 5 to 10 jackets.
Yeah, and just
for
have
these
them.
kids.
Yep. She had this little like, red fleece kind of sweater thing, and I was just like, "Ain't no way." You know, as a mother, I'm just like, "Why you ain't got no jacket on, girl?" She was like, "Where?" I said, "Where's your jacket?" She's
right.
Like, I have my actual coat inside, but I can't wear it. Why?
But see, that just shows what type of person you are, man. I think that if a person concentrates on helping people, it feels so good. It feels so good to me. I don't want to hurt nobody. Why would you want to intentionally hurt a person? I don't understand that.
People hurt people. Hurt people
right.
who feel.
But why?
Riot is the voice of the unheard. So every time you hear someone yelling, it doesn't mean it's bad. Every time someone smiles in your face, it doesn't mean they're in your corner. And every time somebody frowns or has what seems to be an attitude when they're speaking to, it doesn't mean that they're your enemy. Those people who are frowning could be so protective of you, it hurts them to see you not get it. And that's what elicits that thing. Then you have others that smile in your face. All the time they want to take your place.
Ooh, I hear that voice, girl. The backstabbers.
Okay. There you go. And
I can't even hold a note in a paper bag.
Listen, and the other ones, and neither can J-Lo. But I digress. There's other people who definitely pick on you and do nefarious things because somewhere along the line they're hurt. Somebody cut them, and they are bleeding on everybody else who didn't cut them. And that's what that is. Those content creators that are, you know, focused in negativity and tea and gossip and all. We too grown for that. I'm a big grown woman. I'm tasteful, and I got an AARP card, and I use it, brother. I love my AARP card. A lot of discounts. Holla at your girl. I love my AARP card, and I am a AARP generation. I don't have no business involved in no tea and no. Let me tell y'all what this gossip is. I don't have no business in none of that.
Right.
So I'm in a different demographic. I'm gonna walk in my lane.
One thing I want to ask you, and it's hard because I don't want to even go into the whole conversation of the little girl Misha. I remember seeing a video where both of y'all was on at the same time, and you was talking to Misha, and you was trying to get her to listen to you. What do you think about?
I broke. So broken people. Here's what I always say, and I say this in real life to my people. The devil can only jump into you and use you if there is already a slight opening in your something, in your heart, your soul, your whatever, to let him in. When your body and your mind, your spirit, your soul is shut off to the devil, locked down like Fort Knox.
Like mine.
Like mine. He can't get in. But if you already have a seed of discontent in your spirit, in your soul, he can walk on in there. She is the manifestation of a seed of discontent and 5 minutes of fame and $3 And
Right.
baby, that is a perfect storm of what she created. She
Right.
allowed herself to be used and manipulated.
Right.
And they have to find people who feel insecure, insignificant, unheard, unvalued. Those are the ones that will go ape-ish for this
Right.
little 10 minutes of fame. And
Right.
that
And you reached out to that girl. I can tell in your heart and your soul, you told her to contact. Look, you need to stop
because I
talking.
never, you know why? I never talk. If you notice in my interviews, I never talk about the what happened and the negativity. I always say, tell me who you are. Who are you?
Right.
Who did
And
you want
she,
to be when you grew up?
as an adult, as
Mm-hmm.
you as a mother figure, she
Mm-hmm.
missed it. It went over her head.
You missed it.
She missed it. And I said, she about to miss her blessing because
Oh,
you was ready to take her under your wing
I
and
was.
teach and educate
But
her. And
if you
I
watch the rest of the video, God started quaking my soul. I started having what appeared to be an anxiety attack on screen. That
right,
was God telling me something ain't right here.
right, right.
Something
And I
ain't right here. And I had to go into deep prayer. If those of you haven't seen it, go look for that video. I didn't take it down.
right,
It was the deception that was taking place. See, God will hear conversations in rooms where you are nowhere near, and He will visit you and say,
but they
that's
didn't get that. What they got was why she done had an attack and everything on camera. Why she have
And to
y'all
those people
missing
that
it.
say, tell me you don't know God without telling me you don't know God. I mean, because that was the visual manifestation of being quaked in my soul and in my body by God. And they still like, oh, what's wrong with her? What you don't want to know God.
Right. It
At that
and
point,
it be
you just don't want to know. It
for
ain't
some
funny.
reason that situation remind me of did you see and this I don't know what made me think about this because it's like this is corny but it's facts.
Mm-hmm,
um Will Smith was in The Pursuit of Happiness,
mm-hmm,
and Will Smith's little kid kept telling the dad these jokes, and he
mm-hmm,
said it's a flood, and he said, well, don't worry, everybody leaving, and the pastor said, don't worry, God will save me, like that. And he said, well, I sent a boat. And he said, oh no, don't worry, God will save me. Now the water getting high. And he said,
mm-hmm.
well, a helicopter comes. Then, oh, no problem, God will save me. And so then he dies and get to heaven, and he says, God, I
God, why
thought you
didn't
was
you
gonna
save me?
save me. He said, I sent you 3 or 4 different
Yeah,
people, stupid. and
you
and
never know.
everybody laughed.
Mm-hmm.
God sent you to her, and she overlooked it. That's
Yeah,
what happened in that situation. I couldn't believe it. And I kept saying, what poor thing. And she got her own channel now.
I know. I heard that she was on one day for 12 hours straight.
Her and the other look, because they know because of Mr. B,
Mm-hmm.
because see,
Leading
Mr. B
people
got
astray.
500,000 subscribers.
Leading
And,
people, leading people astray to their own demise. For what? For what
right.
gain and to gain the world and lose his whole soul.
But both of them now have channels.
And I'm proud of them. I hope God turns them around and they are
Right.
convicted by the Spirit and the blood of Yeshua, and they do something righteous with it.
Right. And
But
Miss
they
English
continue to
had
do
Courtney on her channel
wow.
yesterday. Yeah. And I said, oh my God, I said, you know what? And what make it this is the part that killed me. We was on there. I didn't say nothing, I didn't type anything. We went on there and then I refreshed and it was over an hour and they had like 8 people watching. Then it dropped down to 4 people watching. And I said, oh my God, poor thing. But and then I just left it
But you
alone.
can't make a mockery of good of God's good, his
Right.
goods and he blesses. He created
Hmm.
this platform and this ability for us to, or whoever created, God makes it so
Right.
that his word can go forward and
And
that we can prepare a table before our own enemies and the other people's enemies in their presence.
right.
We
Oh, uh-oh. I think her battery probably died, y'all. God. Oh, she back.
no. I'm back. Somebody called.
Oh,
People will
okay.
do that when they see me live.
Right,
I
right.
happen all the time. As soon as they see me live, they call me. Which don't do that, guys. That messes up the.
Yeah, it does it.
But
And also when and it's funny because going back and forth with the and I don't even want to talk about this too much, but with you and Lionel B, I just want to let you know that when I he called himself showing proof that you asked for $5,000.
He what he didn't do was show the entire thread of
The
the
manuscript, the whole
conversation.
manuscript.
Show
But
that he's been trying to target me since March.
right,
What
but
do you want? And invite me and talk about, oh, I know safety is important and your safety and everything, and I want to make sure that you're safe. I want you to come out to my studio. I remodeled my studio, and I want you to be my first in studio exclusive guest in March. We
wow,
at December.
right.
Had it not been for the fact that I pointed that out, he was trying to lure me out for those people to unalive me.
Mm.
That. He was trying to lure me out. I don't pay, but I'll pay for all of your airfare, your hotel, your accommodations, everything. Why would I give a random content creator all of my personal information?
Yeah.
Why would I let you fly me from my safe zone behind this screen in
Mm-hmm.
wherever you are in this world?
And you don't know what's going to happen.
Where I don't know what's going to happen, who they're around, who's normal to that environment, so they can
Right.
catch me slipping and come and unalive me. I have a child, sir. I have a
Right.
child, sir. To do such a thing is the most diabolical evil. And that is why whenever you try, the Bible says, touch not my anointed and do my prophet no harm. You try to touch the anointed one and look at what you got now. I don't care
Mm-hmm.
what you got. You done lost a bunch of them. You can
Mm-hmm.
buy pots and fill back in the ones that you lost, but that's your business. God
Right.
is going to remove you from the mantle that you had because you try to do harm to his chosen one. You cannot
Right.
win. You cannot win when the devil is within. You can't.
The- But when you was talking about this, I think you was talking about on a live stream and somebody in your chat, and I'm watching, I'm in, I'm behind the scenes watching,
Mhm.
and somebody in the chat said, plain and simple, what's wrong with 5,000? If that's her price, that's her
Listen,
price.
first of all, what's wrong with 5,000 when that's what I get? That's what I'm getting.
Exactly.
So,
Right.
but it goes back to my first point that I said. Black people have to stop pocket watching. You don't assess my value. I assess my value. The
Right.
reason that people have not is because they ask not. And I didn't ask him for anything. He literally said to me, how much will you charge me?
Right.
That is
And
what
that's your
it says. So the flex that he thinks it is, it's really not. He
right.
needs to get himself together and stop trying to besmirch someone's integrity or do nefarious deeds. I pray renewal. I pray God convicts his spirit. I pray that he repents for what he has done, especially what he has done to me. And for Lamisha, she tried to double down and say, I was in a Diddy party with her and all this craziness. Like, poor child. I know it must feel so lonely and sad in your existence because ain't no way you ever met me in person. If you met me in person, boo, you wouldn't be this scatterbrained and crazy. I would have already touched you with the light of the Lord and you would have changed from your wicked ways. So ain't no way
Mm.
you met me. Not the least of which is I'm 54 and this girl is in her 20s. When did I meet you? When you were 6? When you were 6, doltish girl? Like, come on. Don't be silly. And who was watching my kids when I was somewhere in some strange party with you? Why would this man settle a case and pay me if I was up at parties? Like, ask yourself that. It was so stupid and foolish. I wouldn't even dignify. Had you not brought it up, I don't even dignify those things with a response. Like I keep,
Right.
I am
Right.
AARP generation, but I'm not
Right.
afraid to talk about anything. I am not afraid to address any topic because I know the woman of God that I am. You can't
Mm-hmm.
besmirch my integrity, boo. You see this 25 years? I
Mm-hmm.
did this with grace. When I
Right.
got shot, there was no social media, but imagine if there was. They tore me down using the newspapers, the magazines, hip hop magazines, um, all those little MTV, this one, that one, all them little hip hop shows
Mm-hmm.
and radio, urban radio markets. They harassed my life with that in real
Mm.
time. Harassed my life. Imagine if social media, what they trying to do to these young ladies now? They did it to me first. I see the run. I see the play. I see the blueprint. That's why it's so staunch. Shout out, shame on NBC for interviewing Jane Doe. First of all, she's a Jane Doe. Mind your business, NBC. Let this young lady have her peace and her integrity and her quiet and let her go forth when the case is adjudicated. But no, y'all always in some stuff. Just like y'all did an episode of Law and Order about my case right after it happened to me to try to
Oh,
humiliate me and harass me and embarrass me.
do you know what?
But
I
you
want to see that.
hold on, they've eradicated it from
Go ahead.
you can't you almost can't find it.
Okay,
You
okay,
can't
go
find
ahead.
it.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Jaguar Wright said she knows the name, the number of the episode and everything. You did an episode on my case, But you have this young woman who is on the spectrum. We always hear when some school shooting happens or something, what do they say? Grief counselors are on board, are present to be able to help anyone deal with the grief of what took place. Where is your crisis counselor, your grief counselor, your compassionate care counselor for Jane Doe? This woman has autism. She's on the autism spectrum. She has a traumatic brain injury and a seizure disorder that's neurotransmitted as a result of the injury she sustained. Where is the compassionate care counselor to counsel her instead of having her under the scrutiny of your reporter who was neither skilled nor qualified to protect her while she was needling her with questions? Well, you said this and you said this and you said this. Where was your compassionate care? If you think NBC is your friend, you in my opinion, they have a lot to be ashamed of. A lot to be ashamed of. This is disgusting. There was no care and concern. There was no trigger warning for others who were at home that may have experienced these very same things to prevent themselves from being exposed to it. Disgusting and shameful. Disgusting and shameful. All to scoop a story. And then all you're doing is espousing and being a de facto attorney for the other side. We know what this is. We done seen the play. We done ran the play. I'm going to always call it out.
Yeah.
I'm going to always call it out. In my opinion, it was one of the most disgusting things I've seen in a long time. Disgusting.
I agree. I love the fact that you're telling it exactly like it is. And I'm like, but the experience, see, this comes from the experience. And I was thinking that you was going to take Misha under your wing because you have so much experience of telling her not to say this, don't say this, don't.
But you know why it doesn't matter and why she couldn't receive it? Because it's my sincere belief she was never a victim. She's a scam artist. She is a flat out scam, in my opinion. I truly believe she was paid. She wanted some money and she was doing somebody's bidding, and shame on her for muddying the waters when actual true victims are out here trying to get justice. And here's the thing I know, the God that I serve, if you, baby, touch not my anointed and do my prophet no harm, you step in the midst of the justice that God is bringing after all of this time, you step in betwixt what justice God is meting out, you are going to catch those fire and brimstone rays upon yourself. You asked for it, you got it. Stay out of it. And that's for anybody spewing venom, spreading lies, spreading malice, doing nefarious deeds, besmirching the integrity of survivors, all of that. Stop it. Stop it now. Turn from your sin and repent and go forth to do something righteous. You are going to pay a heavenly price that you cannot afford to pay. I promise you. I mean that from my heart and soul. Let's check back on those people same time next year. Same
You're
time.
right about that.
December 29th? Let's look. Oh, we know the people. We see them on the YouTube landscapes. We ain't got to call no names. December 29th, 2025. I'll meet you right back here, Mike.
Okay.
Right back here.
Yep.
God willing, I'll meet you right back here. Let's check on those people. And I bet you we'll be able to run down a list of people and what has happened to them. No, I'm not calling for no bad on you, but you have brought it on yourself. We are finally
brought it on yourself.
We're going to do a year in review and look at how you went down.
That's why I don't say anything about any of these people. I say, poor thing. They do.
Poor thing.
They do not understand.
Father, for they know not what they do.
They know what they. Yep.
I've
been called the Uncle Tom because everybody's called me Uncle Mike. And said he not an Uncle Mike, he an Uncle Tom. I said,
those people need to educate themselves because Uncle Tom was not the person that was the problem. It was Sambo. Get your life. You're repeating things, but you don't do study. They say if you want to hide something from a people, put it in a book. Uncle Tom was the savior. Sambo was the problem. So you in good company, Mike. Let him call you Uncle Tom. See?
You've been wait a minute. So you've been spying on my channel.
I haven't been spying on I haven't. I didn't even know they was doing that. But what I will tell you is
I just said that.
I'm a nerd to the T. I know. Listen, I'm in.
First of all, I told the little kids, I'm on one of my channels, I said, you call me Uncle Tom, what you just did was you gave me a compliment.
Elevating you. That's right.
I'd love to be like Uncle Tom because if you read Uncle Tom's Cabin, you will understand who Uncle Tom really was.
Here's the deal. In their language, so they can understand it, it's not the flex you think it is, boo.
Right.
I speak both languages. I speak AARP English, and I speak what y'all speak.
And the thing about it is they don't understand that. You see, here's what the problem is. And this is what I had a little 25-year-old think they grown because the government say you know, after you 21, now you 25. When I was 25, I thought I was grown. I thought I was grown as I could do whatever I want. Until I turned 35 and say,
and it was like, boy, was I dumb back then.
Yeah. They almost dry behind the ears. They still soaking wet. 25, you so wet behind the ears, you don't realize that there's water back there.
Listen, still smelling like Similac, Mike. Like
I'm 58.
So
I'm an old head.
I'm an old head too. We're of a certain generation.
Exactly. And our goal in life right now is to help people, help others. And I tried to help that little boy. You're gonna sit here and tell me, and I'm gonna I'm gonna say these stories. He gonna tell me he's living out of my studio. I want my studio back. No, I can just live right here. He using the bathroom right out back. But if he got to do number 2, he can go upstairs. But he's living out of the studio. Then he bought a cat. Boy, why you need a place to stay? Not this cat.
Wrong.
Get this stinky cat out of here. I'm a dog man. I don't like cats.
Me too.
And then he gonna tell me, I'm saying, but look, because he's a rapper. And I'm like, well, I never work with a recording artist. So why don't I try to manage you? And I got $80,000 worth of equipment in this place. 80,000. And he gonna tell me, well, Mike, this ain't my first time. You know, I put an album out. This is my 3rd album I'm putting out and all this stuff. You know, I'm getting spins, man. I got 1 million. What is it, Spotify or whatever? See, I'm from CD.
Is he monetizing himself?
Right, I'm making money.
Then why is he? Then he's a poor steward of what God has blessed him with.
Wait a minute. You making money, but why are you
unhoused?
Yeah, if you making so much money, why you sleeping in my studio?
Because he's a poor
come on, man. I'm trying to save money like you. And you know what? Here's the pillow that my mother gave you. Have a nice day. I'm going upstairs. I offered him my bedroom. Because you know how we are. We got our hearts too big. Mike, man, you got it. Mike, I'm telling you, man, you got too big of a heart.
Not too big. Don't listen to that. You continue to keep your big heart. That's what God blessed you with. But we just have to foster the gift of discernment. Some people, here's the deal. And
I try to tell them, not to cut you off, I try to tell them, Mike, you too nice to the people. Well, you got too big of a heart. Well,
no,
you lie, you wrong. Right now, I understand what you're trying to say, but I wish my heart was 10 times bigger.
Don't listen to that too big of a thing.
Yeah.
Don't let anyone who hasn't done a thing tell you it can't be done. So many people try to tell me you are wasting your time. They will never arrest Puffy. Let it go. You're wasting your time. Those are some of the people that be on social media like, this my home girl. Okay, shouting the loudest. If someone hasn't accomplished something, never let them tell you it can't be done.
Most definitely.
It can't be done. And your heart is not too big. Here's what the dichotomy of it is. Your heart is not too big. It is when you try to give someone the information and you try to help them and they don't receive it, it means that is like when we are cooking and you kind of turn the meat over to see if it's brown enough, it ain't ready yet. They have to go back on their journey to continue to learn. And that's what it is. He did not take in what God put before him, the blessing that God put before him and anointed him with. He wasn't willing to receive it. He still was of his own mind. The word says, lead not on your own understanding.
It's 3 or 4 of them. And Natania, just to let you know that we are new at all this because we've been pushing this channel so hard. And to hear my partner, I'm in the backyard working one day and he said, man, are you sitting down? Because we made some big money. Huh? We just started. We wasn't, I don't know. I'm still trying to understand this whole thing because we finally making some money where I can quit my job. You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So, I mean, I'm new at this thing. And I said, well, right now, I think we can afford this. So let's go do this. We need new equipment. We need a little more equipment. I need to go round trip tickets to the Philippines. This is hard.
Yeah,
And people,
it's not easy. It's not easy. And people think we're just sitting behind a thing and doing a thing.
right. And
Like
you got the
25th
20
anniversary
people.
celebration. You know how long I was on the air? 7 hours. That 25th anniversary special was 7 hours. I can't believe I was like 7 hours.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
couldn't believe it was that long.
We
It
did
didn't
9 hours
feel
the
like,
other day.
huh?
We did 9 hours on our live stream the other day, not yesterday, but day before yesterday.
And
And
they have to understand it takes something out of you. There's a
right.
sacrifice. When I'm sitting here, there is 7 hours worth of things I'm not doing.
And you know, all your friends and family members, or so-called friends, not the family members, they hand come rolling out like this.
Here's the deal.
Hey, Mike,
I
can
have
you?
to say, I'm so eternally grateful for my friends and family, and the ones that came up, the ones that couldn't come up, the ones that sent me messages. A lot of people were sick. People, there's a flu going out there, or you know, the vid 2.0. Y'all watch yourselves, because a lot of people messaged me. I'm sick. I'm sick. I have the flu. I can't get out of bed, or what they think was the flu, but they were very sick. So many people came out to celebrate me. So many people came out to participate. I'm so eternally grateful. Oftentimes you will be, the word says that a prophet is received everywhere but in his own home. Sometimes the ones that are closest to you don't stand in the gap with and for you. But your support will come from other places and other people. And so shout out to those who support Mike. I would invite you guys over to my channel to come and partake in what we're doing over there. It is a lot of fun. Trust me, I know I'm very spiritual, and you guys hear me, speaking spiritual. I'm comfortable with God. I'm comfortable. So many people write to me and say, thank you so much for being so comfortable speaking about God, because guess what? I've been wanting to get back to prayer and to talking to God, and I could not, because I felt like God wouldn't receive me, or I didn't know what the first thing to say with God was. I thought God would be mad at me. And now I'm back in the fold, and I'm literally, talking to the Most High and all that. And I love it. And I love what I'm doing. But we do a lot of great things over there. We're having a bunch of fun. I want you guys to make sure you come and participate with us and join my channel. Subscribe, become a part of the nerd herd. We're doing a lot of fun things over there. So be a part of it.
Right. Okay, then. Well, I'm gonna let you up unless you want to stay. Because look, I thought we was gonna do an hour. We're going on 2 hours and 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
But I
People are
definitely
texting
want
now to get back to, I said people are texting me now to
right.
the commitments I have, but
We're gonna email you some of the tracks,
okay.
and
Forward to it.
I want to listen to, when I get to the Philippines, I'm gonna be relaxed and I'm gonna listen to your style and Jaguar style, so we can, I don't want you to just throw your voice on anything that just to be doing it. You know what I'm saying? I want some passion behind all this.
Everything I do is passionate. I know y'all can see that. Listen, one thing no one will ever accuse me of being is not passionate. I am extremely
Okay.
about everything I do. But it was a pleasure being here, Mike, and I will absolutely come back.
Yeah, most definitely. And we will bless you the best we can. Like
Absolutely.
I was saying, that we just started all this.
Absolutely.
And
How long you guys been on?
Huh?
How long you been running?
The live channel?
Yeah.
We've been doing this for like 4 years.
Oh wow.
Yeah, my channel, the main channel, if you look, you can look it up and everything, and it say 6 or 7 years. But
wow.
We just started making some real money like 30 days ago. Hello.
Listen, praise God. Praise God.
I said, wait a minute. And that's, remember you were saying, put your job, if that's what God tells.
Right.
He told me, just like he told you to change your shoes. He told me,
faith and obedience.
it's time to leave this job. And I said, you know what, God, I'm glad you even told me that. And so many people on my job was like, now see, what you should do is you should work a whole year so you can save the money. And I'm like,
listen to those people.
Why should I stay on this? This job is not even paying. I'm making 2 times as much money, not 1 time or double, 2 times as much money. Staying, all I gotta do is I quit the band.
Yep.
Because they don't want to listen. And I can't find the words to tell these people. I can't find the words. And I said, this is what the band told me. They want me to film the band because they need footage of the band. How the hell I'm gonna film the band and I ain't in the band? I feel as though that's embarrassing. In other words, you saying I'm not needed in the band. Y'all want me behind the camera.
Well, here's the deal. Talk to God on that. Talk to God and seek his face on how to proceed with that.
I already did. He already told me, because the very next show they was like, "Oh, you off today. We don't need a bass player."
Oh.
So now you want me to film and not play the bass, and then this next show you don't even need a bass. People texting me like, "Yo, man, you're not in the band no more." Them hints. And I said, you know what? And one other show before all this, we was live. I'm on live on my phone. Hey, y'all, we going to the show just because we got to keep this clock running to get subscribers and stuff. And we get to the show and they canceled the whole show. It's a waste of time. I could have been in here doing my YouTube stuff.
Well, that's okay. Anytime somebody try to put a trap or anything, a barrier for your success, it's going to give you double for your trouble.
So he's clearly telling me, you need to focus on one thing, Mike, and that's YouTube.
There you go.
And the more I focus on it, the more it's coming back up. Baby, we're getting strong.
And here's the deal. Not even focus on YouTube. Focus on you.
Yeah, focus on me helping, doing what God wants you to do. God is telling me to help other people.
And it's a beautiful feeling. And it's redemptive in your soul. People who don't help others don't understand what motivates us. It is so redemptive in your soul. You can't help but to do it. So don't let anybody make you feel like what you're doing is not a noble gesture. You are doing noble gestures, Mike. And people enjoy you. You trust me, your numbers show it. People enjoy you.
Thank you so much.
Anyone who is so inclined and interested in anything that I'm saying or interested in me as a person or what we're doing, by all means, feel free to come over to The Dopest Nerd and get to know us. Come and subscribe, watch a video or two, check back in with us, and get to know us. If we don't have what you're looking for, I totally understand. But if we do, stay a while. Take off your shoes at the door, put on your fuzzy socks, come on in. Get on in.
That's the same thing we be saying. Okay. All right, then. Golly, Natania Reuben, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you so much. We'll keep in touch. Absolutely. You know I'm going to be in your chat room saying, hey, girl.
Thank you. Absolutely.
You know, if you on, I'm going to be in the background listening to help support. You know what I'm saying?
And likewise.
Most definitely.
I appreciate you.
All right, Job. I'm hungry. I was hungry before we started, and we did 2.5 hours. That's crazy.
So easily.
Golly, but we're gonna do some things. So y'all take it light, take it slow. Tell them Uncle Mike told you so. Peace out.